Bang!
Bang! Neeves Knives. I'm Jared with my lovely wife, Kara.
Hello.
And we are live, ladies and gentlemen, live on a Bang Gang members live sharpening. And today we are going to be doing fixed angle sharpening. And we're going to...
Oh, excuse me.
Amateur. Fucking amateur over here.
I just like hearing your
It's
voice.
amateur hour. So I have a few different knives here. We're going to choose which one to sharpen. They all need a new edge. So we'll talk about that here in 1 second. But today's video is going to be pro tips on fixed angle sharpening methods. Now, if you didn't watch it, I posted a video earlier today on the TSPROF KADET Pro. The differences between the Pro and the Deluxe, and how I think that this is the best knife sharpener you can buy as far as money goes. You know, if you have enough money and you're wanting the best, I did a video on it and I talk about the sharpening system and how it works and yada yada. This video, we're gonna go into depth about the actual sharpening methods, the actual grit, the actual stones, and more in depth into the actual act of sharpening in great detail for people to hopefully get some tips that they might not know, because just because you have a fixed angle sharpening system doesn't mean, one, you're really good at it,
Doesn't mean you know shit.
or two, that there isn't things you can't learn still, right? Because yes, it holds the angle for you and it makes it easy to hold the angle, but that's all it does. You know, it doesn't teach you how to locate burrs, how to bring up a burr, what type of grit on what steel, you know, what type of angle would be best on this, what type of stroking methods, and how to get out different imperfections maybe in the edge in different places, and what not to do, because there are things. I'll tell you what, I've seen more, and this is a fact, I've seen far more knives damaged, and I mean damaged, they could always be fixed, but where the edge was not good and it was destroyed, or a lot of problems happened from fixed angle sharpening more than freehand. I've seen a lot more problems with fixed angle sharpening than freehand. It's
kind of like when people wore masks at the beginning of the pandemic and it gave them confidence that they weren't going to get sick, so they ignored the 6 feet thing. You know what I mean? It's kind of what a fixed angle system does.
That thing wasn't doing shit.
It gives you that's not where I was going with this. I'm saying that it gives you a false sense of security, right, about your skill.
You should have been, if you thought that, you should be more worried about your mental health.
I'm trying to make an analogy, sir. I'm trying to say,
just saying,
it lulls you into
just saying.
I'm trying to talk about sharpening here. I'm saying that it lulls you into a false sense of security, because it gives you, it's doing things for you so you feel safe with your angle and other stuff, and you feel a little bit more loosey-goosey than you would be if you were freehand, and you'd be a lot more.
Man, if you think that a fucking little mask that you can smell a fart through is going to protect you from a virus that came from China,
remind me to never make an analogy with a mask again.
So today's knives, we're going to, well, we're not going to sharpen all these. We're going to pick. So I'm going to let you guys pick. Which one do you guys want to sharpen? We have the Demco AD20, the beast. Kara's face, always, it loves Kara's face, so she's beautiful. But we have the AD20 with the original goat scales. Now, by the way, I did not link it, but Blade HQ is linked down in the description. You can get an AD20.5 full tie 3V right now, using my link down in the description for Blade HQ. Just look up the Demco AD20.5 and you'll find it. Badass. I highly recommend that, especially over the FRN OS 10 version. Next knife we could do is the ProTech the ProTech Mordax in their Magna Cut. Now, that was something that you guys wanted to talk about before, was their HRC and how ProTech's Magna Cut is. Now, I still am going to send this knife in because it does have some detent lash, but regardless, it doesn't mean I can't still sharpen it before I send it in. The Brian Nadeau Apex, the Sharp by Designs Apex, we could do this one. Now, they say this is a hollow on Blade HQ's website. It is not a hollow. This is a flat grind. The hollow is on the Tonto version. So I do have the Tonto version, but the next knife we could sharpen, and the last one would be...
there's one more.
Well, we're not going to sharpen this.
But why? Give them the option.
We're not sharpening this, but
there's another option. Seems logical. Gave you the idea to sneak a knife onto the table, and this is what I chose because
we're not doing that one.
Look at this little guy.
I understand.
I feel like that would actually be pretty tough to sharpen.
Yeah.
Look at it's like a 90-degree turn.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, that's probably a good one.
And the new Rayla Conoco Wee knife. What is the name of this again? I forget now. Look it up really quick. Look it up. Your brain's not gonna remember. Just look it up.
Don't talk about my brain like that.
Oh, I'm just saying.
I don't even have my phone with me. I can't.
You have a computer.
Oh, that's
shit.
other things. Well, how am I supposed to look it up?
Anyways, Jared Blade HQ link. Thank you, Kyle. I appreciate it. So, Paul says do the AD20. The Evoke, yes, or the We Evoke. So somebody said the 80-20. If everybody agrees, just say agreed, and we will do the 80-20. Like I said, though, if you guys are wanting to get one of these, I don't know if you can get this exact one, but you can get the 20.5, which is a smaller, more compact version, and overall probably a better EDC knife. This is obviously a better hard use knife, you know, if you're going to be fucking hitting it hard. But when it comes to, you know, an overall EDC knife, the 80-20.5 with full titanium is going to be a little bit better. And if you want to, you spend an extra $60 and send it to about $60. You can send it to BGM and get a regrind on it. Just a thought.
Okay, 80-20 it is.
80-20 it is. All right. So with the 80-20, it is rocking, I think this one's 20 CV steel. Yep, we have 20 CV steel on my version. So what we are going to do is, because I could hard use this, right? But I really don't. Like, I don't take it out in the field and do anything with it. I carry it as just a pocket knife and just cut bullshit with it. One day, yeah, I might put it through some real hard use crazy shit, but I kind of want a big, badass, beautiful edge on it. It's nice and thick. So an edge angle, a low edge angle on this would make a huge bevel. So we are going to do, I'd like to go down to 15,000 or 15. Yeah. 15,000. Sorry, 15 degrees. What am I saying? 15 degrees per side. But
on that,
yeah, it might take a little bit too long for this, because 15 degrees per side is pretty, that's a low. Well, it's a big edge bevel, and it would take a long time because it's so thick. So we'll go 17 and do it like that, and then maybe on the second sharpening. This is
17 would be plenty for that.
Well, we're going to check it out. So here in 1 second, we are going to lower down the camera and get a better view of the sharpening system, and then get to work. Can I have a drink of the coffee? By the way, shout out to everybody who showed up, all the members. We do appreciate all the support, and hopefully you guys get something out of this. Oh, by the way, I might be giving away my other TSPROF system to one of the members.
That's a big prize.
Come Christmas. Well, I got this one, right? So I don't really need the other one. I got this one. So
yeah,
they're the same system. It's just the difference is this is the upgraded version of the other one, but the other one's still fully capable. Like, I mean, obviously it's a fucking KADET. So we'll probably be giving it away to one of you guys for Christmas or something.
Kebab.
What's up, Trevin? All right.
I just got Kebab some new food. I got him bugs and berries mix. He's gonna love it. Jared was all disappointed because, you know, every time a package comes to the door, you know, he thinks it's like for him or a knife or something. Package comes to the door and he feels it and he's like, "Is this possum food?" Yeah, it was bugs and berries.
I'm taking out the stud because it can get in the way. And just in case, it probably wouldn't get in the way, but the stud on this is so easily removed, might as well. When you can get very easy to remove studs on a fixed angled system, a lot of times it's easier. Just do it. Save you some trouble. So let me just tighten this up so we don't lose
Are you
this.
sharpening an already sharp knife, or has
No.
the knife been used enough to be dull?
The knife is dull. It's completely dull. It's not very sharp, but it is the first edge that's been on this. Like I said, I haven't really beat the shit out of this knife. So, you know, yeah, I've used it, but I've just used it for regular cutting purposes, and that's why the edges lasted so long. I think for the full review, I was the toughest on it for the full review. Once I was done with the full review, I didn't really beat on it after that. You know, I just carried it here and there, cut open some stuff. I broke down some cardboard a few times. But that's also why, you know, it needs an edge, because it's still the factory edge. They do a high edge angle. So let's lower you guys down, but yes, it's dull. All right. Let's make sure you guys can see really good. And if we need to adjust, we always can. I think maybe just go up a little bit higher. How about that? Is that good? Yeah, that's pretty good. So let's move this to the side. Oh shit!
Oh shit!
I need you to get me something.
What?
Go next to my sharpening bench. There's 2 different screwdrivers. I need you to grab them both. They're on that cart thing. I'll just do it. Don't worry about it. I'll get it. Let everybody see your knees.
Look at these knees. This knee right here once had a microtech to the bone. Right there. Wham. I can't even feel that because the microtech took all my knee nerves. You know how it feels to not have knee nerves? Like nothing. Go ahead.
All right. If you're curious about any of these things I'm doing or how this thing works, you can watch my review of this item that I posted earlier. So right now I'm just clamping it in the system, getting a nice good rock solid clamp on it. You don't want to tighten these down too much, because what winds up happening is if you tighten it down too much, it's counterproductive. It actually, instead of like clamping really good, instead of clamping really good, it starts going like this. So you want to just get it nice and snug, and then that's perfect. Nice, snug. Yeah, that's good. All right, now let's get our. There it is. Let me just get my angle really quick.
Now they're getting a damn foot reveal. What is with this camera angle, baby? Look at my damn toes.
Hang on, baby.
You're out here doing angles, and I'm out here with my cold toes.
Well, get your toes out the biz.
Well, this is where they go.
All right, hold on.
Cover them up
Almost
with my
there.
damn old pants.
Oh.
I'm supposed to look like I'm all the way dressed, and now they know I don't have
Oh,
socks
that's
on.
pretty low right there. Let me see how this does. This is 17.5. Let me put a stone, or I'll put the strap on here really quick.
More toes. What angle comes on the 80-20? Like a 20?
Like a 25.
20.5. Is that why it's called that?
No.
Is it?
It's not.
Are you sure?
Positive.
Because it should be.
Think so?
Yeah, if that's the edge angle, it probably is like a 20.5. It's probably a fat edge.
Between like 22 and 25 degrees.
That's why it's called that, guys. I know it. I just know it. Is it blurry for you guys? Yeah, it's probably because we're overexposed to shit like we always are. You gotta turn down some of the light or something, baby.
What's wrong?
It's just a little blurry. Yeah, every time you move your hands into frame, the camera struggles to focus.
Is that better?
Probably. Let me hit.
If it's not, I can hit another one.
I'm gonna go tap the cam.
Tap the cam.
Tap a Rooney.
I raised it up a little bit. But we're gonna take a couple passes with an Atoma, but let me make sure it's set for my Atoma. So this is an old Atoma 140, so it's not fresh at all. I would say it's probably about 300 grit now.
Can you keep your hands still and out of frame for just one quick second, please? Is it clear?
I mean, I think it looks all right.
On my screen, look on mine, the live one.
Oh shit. Okay. It's frozen.
Is it?
Oh, there it goes. Okay.
See how when your hands come in?
I think it looks okay. I think it looks good.
Okay,
yeah.
Just be cognizant of not putting your hands all close to the camera lens. That'll help. Because it freaks it out.
There was a thing I talked about in the video.
It pops off.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a little
getting better.
No.
Still looks overexposed to me.
Get this again.
It's Jared's arms that keep messing with it. Yeah, you just got way too much light on it. I'm sorry, guys. Just give me 1 second to fix this.
I'm getting my edge angle, so it's not that big of a deal. I'm going to double check it really quick because I kind of did that fast. So what I'm doing is I'm just getting the angle from my rod, zeroing it out there, then putting it on my clamp and getting my angle. Right now we're at 18. We want to go just, let's see if we can go a little bit lower.
This just isn't a good angle.
What's wrong?
There's just too much depth of field right now for this camera to focus. You know, the angle that it's at.
Let's see the other side. All right, I'm ready. All right, as soon as she's done farting around, we're gonna get to it. Tell me when you're ready, baby. Everything good?
Shit.
Why does it look like shit?
It's your.
Why don't you turn this light off and turn these ones on? Try that.
Okay. It's gonna go dark first.
Oh, it's dark. Well, maybe not. Maybe not on this. Let me see.
Hold on. I have an idea.
So I think it looks better, brighter, but
No, I know, but you have to understand when you're moving around.
don't
much.
do that. Don't go crazy like that.
I'm not going crazy.
Yeah, you are.
I'm just
You're
going mildly crazy.
I know. Stop.
It's just mild.
Yeah, don't start moving stuff. I'm serious.
I know. I'm just going right here. I'm not going far.
That's very far. Stop. You guys, I don't want you catching things with the wires and pulling other ones down.
It's not. I'm not moving it anymore.
Okay.
That's it. Just stay here.
All right. Sorry, guys. I mean, I think it looks fine.
All right. Try that.
You do this every time, you know that?
Now
that just got, I mean, it seemed like as soon as you turned it on, it got brighter. She just left it off. Just turn it off. Turn it off. Turn this one on. Turn that one off. It's fine. Just turn that one off. And then turn this one on back here, and it'll make the room brighter from back. All right. Turn that one off. The backlight will work better. For some reason, the camera's messing up on this live, guys. Sorry.
Just so
That should be fine right there. Yeah, it's not that dark. Well, I can't tell yet.
It's got to catch up.
That's not bad, right?
Yeah, do you have this thing set on the wrong camera setting? Do you even check the wheel when you turn it on?
Well, it might have been messed up because...
No, you don't have it on the right one.
Then change it. I thought that's what you were just checking.
It might cut the live out. I don't know.
No, it won't. No, it won't do that. Just turn it. Just turn it. It'll go. Keep going.
No, this is the one it should be on.
Okay. Then turn the lights back on then.
Yeah, and then now I want my...
All right, now you're just messing the camera. No, I mean...
I have the angle like that on purpose so it stops picking up certain stuff in the background.
That's good.
Just go ahead. I'm going to just do your thing.
All right, guys. So I got my angle set. Oh, I got to change this around. So I got my angle set at 17. It's about 17.5 degrees. We're going to see how this works. Now, one technique that's very important with every fixed angled system, and most of the things, everything I'm going to talk about in this video has nothing to do with the system, but has everything to do with a fixed angled system. So if I'm telling you a tip, it will go vice versa with a KME or any of those. Why is it not focused? It's not auto focusing. What? Turn the wheel to the... No, it should... There you go. But it will be the same because they're both fixed angled systems. So regardless if you're using a KME or work sharp, doesn't really matter. It'll still be basically the same. So one thing that is very important, I do see the donation, Artisan Walker. Thank you for the 2 bones. Camera is set on 720p, guys. Check the settings. Thank you. I appreciate it. It should be set at 1080p. The live, I think, from StreamYard is 720. So I don't, or no, I think it's 1080p.
1080.
Yeah, we paid for 1080p. So, I mean, we'll see. So while she's messing with that, I'm going to continue talking. Now, one big tip, this is extremely important. Doesn't matter what system you're using. This is one of the most important tips I can tell you. It's about the way you do your stroke and how far you go to the tip. So when you are doing your pass and you get to here, most of the time, and this will be, you guys will all do this if you had a fixed angle system and you don't know better, you're going to go off of the tip. Now, what's that going to do is it will 100% round your tip and chip it, round it, and it makes it look like shit. And doing it once, it will take you like 5, 10, 15 minutes to get out one time if you do it. Now, if you do it multiple times in a row, it's going to take you a lot. It'll take you probably 3 sharpenings worth of steel to get out. Never go past the tip. Always stop at the tip. The reason why is because your stone is hitting the tip. It doesn't look like it. And a lot of times it'll seem like your grit is not just, it's not hitting the tip and you feel like that, but it's just working its way to that point. Continue working on it. Continue working on it. Sometimes it feels like a very long time. And you're like, man, this is taking entirely way too long for me to hit the tip. As long as you are not going past the center of your stone with the tip of the knife, you'll be fine. But just don't ever go past the center of the stone, because once you go past the center, that's when this can happen. It goes bloop. And if it goes bloop around that corner, I'm telling you, it takes an incredible long time to get that out. What's wrong?
Instead of sharpening at this weird angle, can you just put it straight towards yourself?
Oh, like this?
Yeah, can you just have it like that, and then I'll just...
I can back the camera up.
It would be better to have it like that, and then just come
Baby,
in
stop doing that.
Because it's really struggling with all your different angles. I know that's the problem. Or part of it.
Well, it should be fine as long as you leave it in one place. We do this all the time.
It's good. Okay.
All right, you done?
Yeah, I mean, it's as good as I'm getting it.
So when you get to the tip, stop, come back, stop, come back, or just go to the tip and then, pick it up and then come back. You can do back and forth strokes or single strokes. It does not matter because your angle is held here. The only real difference between back and forth, there's really no difference, to be honest. Like, it is so minute. Don't let anybody tell you that you're supposed to go forward or you're supposed to go backwards. Doesn't matter. The biggest point is, can you hold your angle? So when you're freehand sharpening and you're going back and forth, you shouldn't do that if you can't hold the angle going back and forth. So depending on whether or not you can hold the angle is the most important part. With this, the angle's already held, so it doesn't matter if we go back and forth like this. Now, there'll be times where I want to blend it. Like if I go back and forth right here like this, I'm not going to leave that now. I'm going to blend it in with the entire edge so that my scratch pattern is running like serrations from heel to tip, all at an angle. So that is very important too. Yeah.
Thank you, Bolt Assassin, for the 10 bones.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate it, man. Thank you, man. You're always hooking it up, man. Thank you for always supporting, man. Ooh, see right there? I almost went off.
Yeah, it won't go past 720.
No.
I wonder if that's because we got that message on StreamYard saying our data bank was full.
Oh, maybe.
That could be why.
Sorry, guys. We'll fix that once we're done with this live.
Some of it was the camera, though, just to be clear. I could see the focus issues through the live camera screen. Sometimes it's hard for cameras when you have a bunch of different, like a big field of view issue, like where it's like the depth of Jared's hand moving at one depth. This pole is really close to the lens. Then you have the blade at one part, which you're trying to focus on. The camera doesn't know which part of the depth to focus on. And so it kind of panics. And I can understand that because it's a lot. This angle seems to be holding a little better, though, because it's less distorted.
Now, sometimes you're going to, when you get to the heel, also make sure your stone's nice and level. Sometimes, like with the work sharp, you want to move your stone to one side or the other, you know, because what'll happen is if you have it pushed, say, all the way to this side, when you go like this, you'll be able to get the tip maybe a little bit better than if you have it all the way over here, where once you get to here, it falls off. So that might be something you want to think about with the work sharp. But when you're doing like the heel right here, you're not going to do this at an angle like this, but just slightly. What I'm doing is I'm just applying pressure to this end of the stone. So if you look at my wrist, I'm applying pressure like that at the heel very lightly, because a lot of times the stone, in order to hit from here to here, it'll be missing a little piece. So like resting right there, there's like a little air pocket underneath the stone where the edge is. So in order to hit that little pocket, you just barely cant your stone just a little bit and hit it at an angle. Yes. Slightly.
Yeah, Ed, I might do that. You have two questions.
Yep.
First one is, on this system, how do you manage Tonto blade, both parts? Do you move and refix the blade or not? Like kind of like that.
Oh, no. I would just lock it in on the spine, and I would do my main edge right here. And then as soon as I'm done with my main edge, I would move over to my Tonto edge. So I would do them separately, but I wouldn't change or move anything. Not unless if there was like a dramatic difference between the two. But 99% of knives, I would just leave.
Okay, and then you have another question on, sorry, that's the same one. How much force do you hold?
I am using almost no pressure. Now, a little bit, not much though, because one, you don't want it to flex. This is a very strong system. So depending on the system you have, maybe even less pressure. With this one, I can apply pressure without it moving my angle or anything because it's such a stable system. However, you want to let the diamonds do the work. The more pressure doesn't mean the faster or the better. Yeah, it might go a little bit faster, but what can tend to happen is, one, you can throw your angle off a little bit, and two, you will have more likely have a chance of skipping off this way and hitting things. So just letting the stone do the work is a big thing. You might want to put a little bit of pressure though, just not a lot. Don't try to flex anything. Don't try to use pressure to make it work, but just put it that way.
Can you scoot forward so the blade stays over the black?
Like this?
Yeah, it's easier to see.
Sorry. Thank you. Now, one thing I'm doing right now that you guys can't see is on this angle, I'm focusing the stone like this. And then as I come across to this direction, when I get to the tip, I focus it like that. And I'm just barely doing that. You guys can't tell, but I'm doing that with the stone. And I'm doing that because once I get to the tip, I want the tip to get hit. So you see how I'm like following the curvature of the knife? You guys see that? How it kind of starts turning right there? And it follows the curvature of the knife. And I'm allowing the stone to do that with my grip. But I just never go past it. Because if you go past it, you'll round it. Don't do that. And I can't tell you how important that is. Like, that is one of the most complicating issues that everybody has with the fixed angle system. Everybody, like almost everybody who has sent me sharpening from fixed angle system, that was the issue. And listen, I've done it too. Like, the reason why I know so well is because of all the knives I've done that too, and then had to spend hours to reprofile it, even though I only did it like 3 times. So very focus heavily on not allowing that stone to go past the tip. So get yourself into a habit of stopping before you get to the tip, or like slowing down at least. Like just getting a nice flow to where you're not rapidly going like this, because that's when you'll fall off. Make sure, just keep yourself a nice little pattern of, not going too far. Yeah.
Did you watch the video from Work Sharp guy showing the difference under microscope between push, pull, or both methods? Looks like push is the best, but twice as long to do.
No, so what I've watched, one, I've done a lot of my own shit with this, but two, go and watch Outdoors 55. He does a full in-depth video where he even does edge retention tests on them and all kinds of tests. Like, watch that video, that helps describe it. And it is such a minuscule difference, it doesn't really matter. Like, and once you get to a fixed angled system, it really doesn't matter. But it's just whether or not you can hold the angle. That's it. Now, like I said, that's reprofiling. Once you get to like finishing, right? That's the difference, because yes, as long as because if you're going back and forth in certain places and then not blending it in, yeah, that's a problem. But that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about whether or not you can go back and forth. Yes, you can. You just have to know how to blend it in at the end, and you got to know how to stare at your scratch pattern and know that your scratch pattern is going at an angle from heel to tip. So if you have little areas where the scratches are going back and forth like this, then you need to take time and spend a few minutes blending in your scratch pattern, doing the pattern you want, or the pattern you should have, which is at an angle from heel to tip. Like serration. Says,
what up?
What up, brother?
What up?
Like right there, how I'm only working on the heel right there. Now I'm gonna blend it. Gotta blend it.
Like makeup.
It's like makeup. Just think about it like you're doing your makeup. All right, so we are not even close right now. We have the tip, which the reason why, now this is some of the problems you guys will have. The tip is thicker on most knives. Right now, this is probably, I don't fucking know, 30 thousandths behind the edge, and this is probably like 20, right? So I'm going to be able to sharpen this out way faster than I am this tip. So you'll see like there'll be an area of the tip that's just not hit. The scratch pattern, it's almost like you almost feel like the scratch pattern isn't moving. It's not getting down to the tip. It is. It's just going very, very slow. So you just have to continue working on it. Now you could leave it and get it on the second sharpening if it does take too long, which that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. If there's like one little spot in your edge that is just taking you hours to get, you don't want to waste 3 sharpenings worth of steel just to get it because you're putting a low angle on it. That's fine. You know, don't worry about it. If it's, you know, as long as it doesn't bother you looking at it. But if it bothers you looking at it, just continue taking your time. Like right now, the only spot that's not hit on this entire edge is from here to here. There's a little tiny spot, and it's mostly hit, but there's just a little bit. But that little tiny bit takes the longest. Takes even longer to get that little tiny bit than it did the whole edge we've already done. The reason why is because of how thick it is. Now with freehanding, you can kind of flex your wrist and hit those areas because you can fluctuate. Like say if I was gonna bring this across the stone, I can go like this with my wrist and get the tips faster. So, you know, it's a little different when you're talking about using freehand versus fixed angle, but with fixed angle, you're not able to change that. So you want to just keep it going until it's hit.
Laurent69 said, just bought the VENEV stones for my work Sharp Elite, but watched your video on this system and will get one for Xmas even if I bought 4-inch, I'm guessing, stones.
Awesome. The VENEVs for which system?
The work Sharp.
Nice.
So
good for you.
4-inch.
Good for you. Yeah, they have different ones. So like you have the greater dogs, the dogs, then a bunch of other ones. So yeah, no, good idea, man. That's great. I did the same thing. So. And it massively improves that system. One other stone to get is this. Get this stone. Get the 1x4 Atoma 140. It's linked that I don't know if I linked the Atomas down in the description. I think I did, but either way, you can go to GRITOMATIC, which is down in the description, and get the Atoma 140. That will save your life. I'm telling you, it will take the time in sharpening and cut it in half. Like right now, mine, this is a 140, but it's very much used. Like this is an old one. So it's probably like 300 grit right now. And it's still far more aggressive than my VENEVs. And that's why I'm using it for reprofiling.
When are you planning to give away the TSPROF?
I said for Christmas.
But when? Like Christmas is soon, so
yeah. So I don't know.
like,
How many? What do we have? One more live before Christmas?
yeah.
So probably that day or something.
Okay,
You know,
well,
what either that because I'm not positive. So what we need to figure out is when is the next Bang Gang live, and does it end up before or after Christmas?
why wouldn't you just do it today so that we could send it out before Christmas?
Because I'd rather tell people so that they know they can show up. Because some people might not be here.
Okay.
And I don't.
Fair.
I'd hate to like not
That's fair.
give them the opportunity. All right, I switched sides because, like I said, the only part was the tip that was still left on that edge. So I'm gonna work on this side, and then we'll flip it back over, and you know, make sure our edge angle looks nice and even from one side to the other. Now, a lot of times I don't use the ball. I hold the stone. And the reason why is because I can fluctuate it like this a lot easier than like this. And this, for some reason, I don't know what it is, but I don't feel like I have as much control when I get to the tip. When I get to the tip, I feel like I'm going to fall. So when I hold the stone, I feel like I have so much more control. And not saying you have to do that. In some knives, you know, you can just hold the ball. But for some reason, when I'm working on the tips, I like to hold the actual stone. Now, this is dangerous, though, because I can go up and go wham right into the edge. So be careful if you're going to do that.
Hey, congratulations on 2K blades and fades. That's amazing.
You hit 2K?
Free bell for you, sir.
Bam, 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 bam.
It's amazing. And if you guys are not following blades and fades, go ahead and do that.
Yes.
Get them to 3.
You can get lots of incredible knife sharpening tips over there. And I think he's still using a KME, which most people have, which is the best system you could get for $200. The TSPROF, I'll be honest, yes, it's way better than the KME, but for $200, that is the best system you can get. The KME is a fantastic system. The one big difference between the build, the strength, and like just how better the tolerances are on the TSPROF is that it uses 6-inch stones. That's like a huge, it's a massive thing. When you get that extra 2 inches on a stone, it massively helps with sharpening and takes time off and everything. And yes, I have cut myself holding the stone like this. Went like this, and I went slid off, and wham, got myself. I don't remember where, but I got myself really good. And there was an edge that I was just finished with, so all I had to do was strop, and I didn't even need to strop. That's how fucking sharp it was, and it cut me bad. So if you're gonna hold the stone instead of the rod or instead of the ball, be very aware of that. Don't need to cut yourself first before you start paying attention, like I did. Right now, I'm at the heel, and again, I'm applying pressure like this slightly so that I can get into that little gap that's a little bit tougher to get, because when I just hold it here, there's a little pocket, right? There's a little pocket that sometimes it'll even happen in the middle of the blade, where if you're holding the stone like this, you know, it can't hit it because the steel is higher on this side and this side. So it's kind of like a pothole, right? If you lay a 2x4 over a pothole, right? It doesn't hit the bottom of the pothole. It just goes from one side to the other. Same idea. But when you can go past it like that, it makes it to where this side of the stone will eventually kind of hit it. But, you know, you got to get all that steel out from both sides in order to dig up basically the pothole, if that makes sense. Hopefully that makes sense. But a pothole is the best analogy for the little pieces of an edge that are very hard to hit. Like, say, the tip right now, it's kind of like a pothole. I got to remove all this metal before I can ever even get to the bottom of that pothole. Does that make sense? If you had a road, right, and you have a pothole in the road, right, and now if you can't fill it, but you want everything to be level, you would have to tear up all of the road to match the depth of that pothole. Same idea here. You're removing all the steel to match the part of the edge that's not being hit, because the stone isn't able to hit it because it goes right over the top of it like a 2x4 laying over a pothole. Right now, my stone would be the 2x4, and the edge would be, or parts of the edge would be the potholes. We do have a burr like all around in this area, from here to here. So we have a little bit at the heel, and then obviously the tip still, which is going to be, you know, a lot more difficult to get. Now, one trick that I like to do when I flip, which we're going to do here in 1 second, is instead of doing, and this will, one, you know, it does help your stones not get tore up as much as that could if you didn't do this, but also it's going to help you do great burr removing techniques. You guys see me do this all the time, a reverse pass. So a reverse pass will be, instead of me going right here and just restarting, I'm going to start at the tip, make sure my stone is laying on it nice and even, you know, where it's not over the edge, and I do a reverse stroke. A reverse stroke. That is going to be the best way for you to do a burr removal too. So right now, all I did was just flip the burr to the other side so I can continue sharpening. And now I will work on this side. But in order to not let the burr snag my diamonds and tear off diamonds, because sometimes those burrs can be pesky, and it's kind of like, instead of hitting the front sharp parts of the serration, I'm hitting the back sides of the serrations and just rolling them over. And then when you go to remove it, you can do multiple reverse passes and then a couple forward passes. Yes.
Warrant 69 says, looks like the TSPROF Cadet Pro is way more stable than the Work Sharp Elite, where you need an extra hardware to avoid angle changes. Do you confirm? Yes.
Oh, this is 10 times more stable than the Work Sharp. 10 times. It's even more stable than the KME. It's just, the base is a lot bigger. This is a heavy base. Like, I don't know how much it weighs, but it's probably like 4 pounds.
It's super heavy.
Yeah, this base is really heavy. Now, yes, I can tip it, but you just put your hand back there, you're fine. And you don't have to. You can go like this, but it's better to put your hand on the base and just hold it. But even this arm, all of this is like so stable. Like, this is so smooth. It's crazy how smooth this is. And I can flip it all the way around. But then when I'm ready, just lock this handle in place right here, and it pulls it in. Same thing with my angle. The other one, the Cadet Deluxe, doesn't have this. It's a lot more difficult to adjust the angle. You have to like unscrew this thing back here and then move it by hand. With this, I just unsnap this, and then I just turn this, and it'll go up and down. I did do a full video on this TSPROF system that I posted earlier. Yes.
Seems logical is actually like a really good question.
Yeah.
Super relevant too. How much more stable is it, the TSPROF, compared to Kanye West when he's off his meds?
Well, I would say it's probably about probably about tenfold again. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good question.
I would be, I mean, I don't know. I'm not going to speak on that, but you know, the guy obviously has some issues, but I think there's a lot of validity in what he's saying and a lot of truth. And because of his mental issues, like it very
clarify what you mean by that.
Very what?
You might want to clarify exactly what you think he's.
I'm gonna, but I think that because of his mental issues, it does make it very easy for them to make him seem disturbed in a lot of ways. But I think he's just, you know, being in the place he's in and the people he deals with, you know, like he deals with a lot of those elite people, and you know, so feels like he's probably been wronged by him, and then, you know, tears a whole culture apart over it when it's not, you know, technically the culture, it's the individuals. But it's hard to see that when, you know, there's so many across your life, and you know, the people you're dealing with, and this has been known for like a very, very long time. I don't know if you guys know, but like rappers have been talking about that whole thing for I mean, for years, since I was like a kid.
Yeah.
So it's not a secret. It's just whether or not it can be exposed and whether or not they'll accept it to be exposed. And when somebody like him starts talking about it, which trust me, a lot of other comedians and rappers and all that have definitely talked about it many times in the past. And a lot of them have had problems after that.
Jared, what do you think, just from Dennis, what do you think about the Hapstone basic model? Is it comparable to the TSPROF?
I can't really speak on the Hapstone too much. I had the one that was similar to the Hapstone. Can you look it up really quick so I can get I'll look at it? It might be the one. If this is the one I'm thinking of, it looks like a really good system. Yeah. So yeah, Hapstone. I would imagine it's I haven't tried it, so I can't speak on it, but I would imagine it's probably just as good. If you have a Hapstone, I'm sure you're going to be, really good. Maybe one of these days I should get a hold of Hapstone and see if they wouldn't mind sending one. I'd love to compare it. I mean, maybe it's better. I highly doubt it, but maybe, it definitely looks like it would compete.
Yes, Paul, Kyle's right. It's Captain tape. Captain with a K.
Kapton, yeah. Kapton tape.
Kapton.
I don't think I linked it down in the description. Maybe,
yeah,
she's grabbing a link right now. It is a little expensive, but the beautiful...
Beat the mods.
What?
They probably don't have a link for it. I'm going to beat them.
So the reason why it's good, the Captain tape, I usually tape the blades. The clamps don't come with any rubber. That's one negative thing I forgot to talk about in the video earlier, but... So you want to wrap your clamps with Captain tape. Captain tape works good because it's abrasive resistant.
Got it.
So if you accidentally hit it with the stone, yeah, the stone's eventually going to go through it, like you see how it did right there in the corner of this one, but it's a lot tougher than any other tape. So if you tape your blade up and you accidentally hit it, you're going to be less likely that it's going to go through. And if you sharpen freehand and you like to use your finger on the stone and let your stone go over the diamonds and it starts tearing up your skin, wrap your thumb with Captain tape and it will not do it. The Captain tape will not get tore off your finger. It will last through an entire sharpening without getting fatigued or messed up at all. It might sweat a little bit underneath the tape, but that's about it. You see how long this reprofiling is taking, though? It's taking a long time, and I'm still not even close to being done when it comes to this tip. So we're most likely going to move on, and I'm going to get it on the second sharpening because I have a burr from heel to tip on both sides. Ooh. I need my little set of pliers. I forgot to bring them over here. But, yeah, I might just have to leave it alone and get it on the next sharpening because I don't want you guys to have to sit here for a whole nother hour just watching me work with this stone. I do notice I need to spend a little bit more time on this side to match it up to the other side anytime. So here's a little trick. Now, sometimes your angle will not be perfect from one side to the other, right? So like this angle might be 17.5 degrees and this one might be 18, right? But it's so close. It's like, and you can't get it to be perfect on both sides. So what'll happen is say one side of the edge bevel will slightly be a little bit bigger. The lower the angle, the bigger the bevel. So what you can do is work on the opposite side. So the smaller side, the side with the smaller bevel, work on that side a little bit longer. And what it'll do is it'll remove steel from the other side and it'll even out. That way, instead of having a bevel like this where you guys can't really see what I'm doing, one side's a lot bigger, you can even it out to where they look even. Now, sometimes when you're using a stone like the atomas, you will get to a point to where the edge is the grit of the stone, and it almost feels like the stone is skating across the grit pattern, like it's not sharpening anymore. Almost like feels like it's almost like like the stone is wore out in a way. Now the reason why is just because the grit pattern is all the same direction, and as the diamonds. So what's happening is, yes, it's working slower. It's not working as fast. If you switch stones, then use the other stone and then go back, it'll work faster, because what you're doing is you're basically like tearing up the finish to give yourself places in the grit for the diamonds to tear through. You know, if they're all the same depth, same angle, same size, same everything as the diamonds on the stone, sometimes they'll just skate over it and it almost feels like they're not doing anything. And you just need to change stones, work on the edge for a minute just to change the grit that's applied on the edge, and then go back to your lower grit.
Thank you for joining
Frank. We got
Spartans,
a new member.
Frank is a Spartan.
Shout out to the Spartans, man.
Welcome.
Thank you. Welcome. Yes. Welcome to the Bang Gang squad.
Bang Gang.
Bang Gang.
Bang Gang. You just don't even enunciate. Bang Gang.
Bang Gang.
It just comes out like that. Bang Gang.
What's wrong with that guy?
Just a cough. Welcome to the squad. Welcome to the circus, someone said.
All right. Yeah, it's doing pretty good, but this side is slightly bigger. So I'm gonna work on just a little bit longer. Actually, you know what I'm gonna do? I am gonna move on, but I'm gonna stay on this side because I want to work on this side a little bit longer to match up the angles a little bit. And I'm going to move to one of my VENEV. I need to clean them. I know, don't talk shit. I know they're dirty as hell. I need to clean them. I got my my plate and everything in the other room for me to flatten them. What's up, baby?
Our new Spartan Frank says that he has both the Cadet Pro and the 360 Pro, and he loves both of them.
I had the Blitz and the Cadet Deluxe and the Cadet Pro, and the Cadet Pro is way better than both of the other ones. But if, hey, you know, the smaller TSPROF, the Blitz 360 is really good. Like, I definitely recommend it. I've done a video on it. I used it for a long time. I wound up giving it away to a friend. So all I'm doing is changing my stone lengths right now. Now I'm going to change the depth back here so that I don't have to change my angle, because my stone thicknesses is going to change. So this is a compensator basically for you, so that you don't have to change your angle. Now it is set exactly the way it was a minute ago with the atomas, just with a different thicker stone. Yes.
Kyle says, Jared, do you clean your stones ever?
Ha! Funny fucker. Let's see, make sure this ain't gonna hit. Yeah, that's good. See, now it feels like it's cutting a lot harder because of the grit change. Like I said, the atomas will make it, you know, like I said, almost smooth out so that it almost feels like it's not doing anything. So this makes it feel like now it's cutting a lot faster. Change this.
Oh, whoa.
Again, I'm using the stone, and I'm kind of going at an angle right here, and then as I go across, I'm kind of going this way a little bit, but only a little bit, just to kind of follow the curvature of the blade. But I'm never, ever letting the tip go past the middle of the stone. And in many cases, I don't even get to the middle of the stone. I just go right past the edge. So like I basically let the tip land to about right here. I don't even let it get to the center of the stone, because I don't want the chance of the stone to go around the tip. So I'll stop the tip right at the beginning of the stone, so it never goes over. And that is how you make your tips acute. That is how you stop your tip from being rolled over, being chipped, or anything like that. Yes, you know, like you're going to see that a lot of times your tips are very hard to get, especially with knives like this, where they're a lot thicker at the tip than they are at the heel. You're going to have your whole edge all the way finished, and the tip is going to be left for like an hour. But that's, you know, that's sharpening when you're talking about low angles. It takes time. Now, if I would have did this at 20 degrees per side, yeah, I'd probably be already to my third stone, but I did not. I want it nice and low. I want a nice big edge bevel. All right, we're going to switch sides really quick. I'm just knocking the burr off, like I said, doing my reverse pass. See that? My reverse pass knocking the burr off and then going to town. Yes.
Do you confirm the next time you will sharpen with the same knife, you won't start with the Atoma 140, but a higher grit?
What do you mean?
Like the next time that you go to sharpen this knife, will you start?
No, I will.
The same Atoma or
I will start with the lowest grit I can.
Lower.
The lowest, whatever I started with just now, because
Can you explain what lower and high mean? Because I feel like when I answer people's messages all day, that people sometimes do it.
Lower means coarser, so whatever's more aggressive. Usually with grit, the lower the grit, so like 50 grit is going to be more aggressive than 100 grit. So with micron, it's the opposite. The lower the micron, the finer. The higher the micron, the more aggressive. They're just different. They're just different phrases. So, but when you sharpen, you always start with the coarsest stone you have. Always start with the coarsest stone and then move on, because you're going to remove the same amount of steel regardless. And if you start with a medium grit or a fine grit, it's just going to take you 10 times as long. Now, if I'm honing, so like say if I've got this sharpened up and I've used it throughout the week, it doesn't need a sharpening, but it needs a tune up, then yes, I will use a finer stone to maintenance it, to tune it up. But that's just for honing. All I'm doing is a couple passes. I'm not going to sit there and spend more than, you know, a minute on a stone with it. I'm literally just going to do a couple single passes, straightening out my edge, honing it up, possibly micro beveling depending on the knife and what type of edge it has, but I will just tune it up a little bit on a higher grit stone. But when it comes down to when stropping isn't working and honing isn't working and I'm ready to resharpen, I will completely go back down to the most coarsest stone I have to start. I'm making sure my scratch pattern right now is all running at an angle like this, all the way up the knife from heel to tip. When I look at it, I want to make sure there's no swirls, no scratches running different directions like this. Make sure all the scratches are running one direction. And if you can see swirls in the scratches, continue working on it until you don't, until you only see scratches going one direction. Yes.
Warren says, I thought lower grit was only to set the angle you want on a knife only the first time, but after it's done, you just need to maintain the angle.
Well, that doesn't matter. You're still, when you resharpen, you're removing steel. So when you resharpen, you're going to be, however much it's going to take is how much it takes. So if you start with a medium grit stone, you're going to wind up taking longer to sharpen it, to remove the steel, to reveal a new apex, because what you're doing is when you resharpen, like say if you already have your angle, say if you reprofiled it last month and now you have your edge, but it's dull, you need to resharpen it. You're going to take this edge off, and reveal a new apex. So that's going to take you removing steel. Now, in order to remove steel, it takes time, right? So if you start with a medium grit, it's just going to take you longer. Do you get what I'm saying? It's like sanding down a table, right? So you're going to sand down a table. You wouldn't start with a medium or high grit. You start with a coarse. Flatten it all down, then move to the medium. Now, like say if you flattened a table, right? Like let's say you polished a table. You started with the coarse, went to a medium grit, went to a fine grit, you polished it up. Now, over 6 months' time, it's been scratched, right? In order to redo it, you're not going to start with your polishing, right? Because you need to get those scratches out. So you need to start with a coarse again. Start with a coarse, medium, and fine all over again. And what'll happen is it'll go a lot faster. You won't need to spend nowhere near the amount of time as you did the first time you were reprofiled, but it'll still, it's still the same pattern. You still go through the same pattern. It just won't take you near as long. And if you did start with a medium grit, it's not a big deal because you've already reprofiled and you're just taking off the finish and basically revealing a new apex. But it's just going to take you longer. You'll spend half the time if you start with a coarse. Especially if you have any type of edge damages or rolls, chips, microchipping, scratches in your edge, anything like that. Yeah, you definitely got to go down to a coarse. We got to burr from heel to tip. But like I said, the tip is not 100% hit. We're going to get that in the second sharpening. We're going to get as much as we can while we're sharpening, but we're not going to go crazy about it because I don't want to have to remove 5 sharpenings worth of steel to get one little pothole out when it's not going to affect the performance of the knife in this case. My scratch pattern, we do have a burr already from heel to tip as we should, but we're going to spend a little bit more time because like I said, I want to make this bevel a little bit bigger to match up this side because this side is a little tiny bit bigger. Whether or not that's the grind, because it could be. This side might be a little bit thinner, like where they ground this right here, could be a little bit thinner than it is on this side. So in that case, your edge bevel is going to be, it'll be bigger on the bigger side and smaller on the thinner side. So in order to compensate for that, sometimes you just have to work on one side a little bit longer. That's why you shouldn't go by like a number of strokes, because like this side, like say if you were going to say I'm going to do 100 strokes on this side and 100 strokes on the other side, that doesn't mean they'll match. One could be thinner, one might have a pothole, one might have a high spot or a low spot. One could have started off at a different angle than the other one. Like there's lots of variables. So you want to do it by sight and feel. You want to identify the issues, where they're at, where to work on them, how to work on them, and how to get them to match from one side to the other as much as possible. Don't always try to be a perfectionist. I mean, be a perfectionist to some extent, 100%. But there's times where by being a perfectionist, you are not doing your due diligence to do a good job. You're actually going backwards. You're not doing a good job. You're going to do a bad job. I'm going to say that again. Sometimes being a perfectionist when it comes to sharpening means you are going to do more damage than good on your knife. It's like trying to get out one little tiny spot, right? Would it be intelligent for me if it, say, takes 5 sharpenings worth of steel to remove one little tiny part of an edge that I can barely see, but it will not come out without removing that much steel? Would it be smart for me to sharpen all that steel off to get that one little piece out that I see, or would it be better to just let it go and throughout the stones or the knife's life, it gets sharpened out through the next couple sharpenings? Of course, that would be smarter. Now I get more life out of my knife, better cutting performance, and it's just, in the long run, you will save your knife and have a lot more time with your knife, a lot more years. It's not responsible to do that. As a knife sharpener, it is irresponsible to do that. Now, there's times where, yeah, sharpen it out. Don't leave something that's very easy. Like there's times where you can look and see and like, yeah, this is going to take a little bit more work, but I should definitely get it out. Yes, there's lots of times like that you should definitely just work on it longer, spend more time. You did not spend enough time sharpening it. Yes, there's so many occasions like that, more than the other. But there are times where it just doesn't make sense to remove as much steel as it's going to take to get that little thing out. Okay, so now I'm going to do a reverse pass to knock this burr off, and we're going to flip this stone. And now the rest of the stone should go pretty quick. I'm spending a little bit more time on my core, because these are my core stones. I'm spending a little bit more time on the core stone because I am trying to get out as much as possible out of this tip. But I don't want to overdo it, like I was saying, to the point to where I'm wasting steel. I don't want to waste steel to get it, but I do want to try to get it out as much as possible so that I'm guaranteed on the next sharpening it'll come out. And it's not going to take a third sharpening. The steel feels pretty good. It doesn't feel super hard, I'll be honest, you know. It's Demco's 20 CV. I don't know how hard he's running it, but you know, compared to really hard 20 CV, it doesn't feel like it compares, but it doesn't feel bad. It doesn't feel soft, but it also doesn't feel super hard. So if I had to guess, it's probably like 60. That's what I'm going to guess. That's a guess, so that's not facts, but just a feeling I have. You know, if I had to bet money on it, I would think it was probably 60 HRC, which is soft for 20 CV, by the way. Glad to watch a live for once, because usually it's 3 a.m. here and I can't ask my question. Nice, ask away. We are here now.
Why is it not 3 a.m. now? Usually it's 3 a.m.
Well, yeah, it's 7:30 at night when we do lives.
Oh, okay. I see. These are the better lives for asking questions anyway, honestly, because we got this sharpening stuff out and
as far as sharpening goes. Like if you're trying to ask us about, you know, fuck shit, then that would be probably the other one. But I don't know, you guys can ask whatever you want here. It doesn't really matter with either one. But yeah, when it comes to sharpening with the regular lives, I'll answer any sharpening questions, but it can be easier when I have the supplies in front of me and, you know, I have the camera facing a certain angle and stuff. Now I have to blend that in, what I just did. See, now I was working on this area right here. I have to blend that in. So now I need to do basically just as many passes back and forth from heel to tip to blend it in. And there is times where you want to start from the heel and just go straight up. Like, don't go back, just do forward motions, because you're fixing your grip pattern, making your grip pattern run a specific direction, and you don't want your scratch pattern running different angles. If, you know. Very nice. All right, let's get to the next stone. The next stone is about 600 grit. Now, just so you guys know, I do have them. I just haven't installed them on this one. I had it on my other TSPROF, but there is the stone holder attachments that hold these stones and these kind of stones where you don't have to change anything, where you just flip it. So one side holds these ones, the other side holds these ones. The way it comes, it'll hold either stone already, but I'm just saying they have the clamps to have, because it has this little rim on it. You can see it has a little angle rim on it for the metal plates. But then the other side doesn't have that. It's just like a flat base like this one is, where there's no rim. It's just flat. So just so you guys know. It does make it easier so you don't have to keep changing the stone thing for to hold the one specific one and then switch to the other one and move it. Okay.
Yeah, I know our US links are an issue for people internationally. I don't really know how to go about working around that.
Use our knife dealer links instead, like Blade HQ or GP Knives. They should be able to mail to anywhere, as far as I know.
Sometimes domain names have different regions, though.
I think the Amazon
some
one is
sites have where you can actually just go to the link and then switch to said version of the site, but you know.
I think Amazon's the one that does have issues with certain countries.
It even has issues. Blade HQ has issues in certain states, even.
Yeah, but for going to different countries, they should still be able to use our Blade HQ link. They shouldn't have an issue. You see how I'm running it all one direction right now? Because this is the last of my course of stones. So this is about a 600 grit stone. It's about 550, 525 or something like that. But I've had it for a while, so it's more like 600 grit. So I'm running all my scratch pattern, one angle, one direction, blending it all in. Because the farther I go now, I have to make sure, one, I have all the deep scratches out from my previous stones. This is my final stone to do that with. If there's deep scratches from any of my other stones, the next 3 stones I use will not get them out. They are going to be too fine of a grit. Kind of like we were talking about earlier with making sure you start with a coarse. Well, same idea here. This scratch pattern, if I just change it over to this stone right here, it would take me an hour to get these scratches out. So I want to make sure that I get it all leveled out in this scratch pattern from this stone on the entire edge bevel 100%. You do not want to rush this process right here, because this is what's going to ensure that you have a beautiful polish. If you're going to polish. If you're not going to polish, it doesn't matter. But when you're going to polish, you need to make sure that your scratch pattern is nice and even and is the grit that your stone is, and not missing or not getting out deep scratches. What are you watching? What are you doing?
I'm reading.
What are you listening to? Not me.
No. Well, I mean, I can hear you too. I don't have that problem where I can only listen to one thing at a time.
Yeah.
It
Go ahead. Is there any questions?
Or may not be Elden Ring lore.
She's supposed to be working, guys. See that? She's supposed to be fucking working. She's over here playing games.
Ask anyone in the chat. Look at me talking. There I am, right there.
Yeah.
Not even a minute ago. In the zone.
Yeah.
This is background
Auto
noise
zone.
in my ear. Yeah, they're just talking about Amazon.
What about it?
Yeah.
I want to know.
Listen,
Tell me.
Listen. Jared once upon a time tested this theory about me being able to listen and fully listen to multiple things at once. This was a long time ago. I wonder if you remember this, Jared.
I do.
Yeah, he had me listen to a commercial on TV at the same time as him telling a story and then repeat back the true meaning of both things. And was I able to?
Yes, you are.
Very clearly, too.
You were able to read and listen, too.
And read and listen, yeah.
I'm unable to do that.
He just got eggs, hash browns, and sausage. He don't need a sandwich right now. I have
man brains. Yeah, she just made me breakfast. Well, like breakfast, lunch.
Brunch. You work for Amazon, Frank the Tank?
So it's your fault.
So make them send
It's your fault my packages are late.
No, Jared's just mad because the packages that come first are the possum food and not his precious knives.
Well, that's an issue.
No, the possums are hungry. You want some brunch in bed, Kyle? I usually bring Jared his food down here so he can eat where he's at. But he came upstairs this morning to eat.
All right.
What is with this Jared chin meme? I don't understand. Why are they talking about your chin so much?
Because I got one of them jaws on me. They say I got jaws of steel.
Jaws of steel.
I got that damn jawline. Okay, so we just switched to the next stone, which is a 20/14 micron. So the previous stone was 50/40 micron, right around 550, 600 grit. Now we are switching to 14/20 micron, about 1200 grit. And that is why I said I had to make sure all the scratches were nice and blended into a 600 grit pattern, because this 1200 grit would not get out 300 grit scratches. At least not, it'd take a long time. So this is going to be the cloudy finish in between the polishing. This is the last stone before polish. So this is the transition stone. This stone is going to be a cloudy finish, shiny but cloudy finish, which will leave a great platform for the fine grit or polishing stones to polish on. The scratches are, there's very, very little. They're very, very light. They're not deep at all. And they're going to be easy to polish out. This is looking gorgeous. I'm doing back and forth motions, just making sure I get the whole scratch pattern out with the new stone. And then I'm going to do single passes just to make them all go the same direction, and make sure we don't have any scratches going different directions.
No, seems logical. I absolutely got Clef the Boy Chin Wonder. I totally remember that. And I knew it was from Fairly Odd Parents. I forgot to reply. Bye, Paul.
Paul's leaving?
Yeah. Paul's got shit to do.
Damn it, Paul.
Paul's a busy guy.
Damn it, Paul. We'll see you later, Paul. You guys ready to give away the TSPROF? I'm just joking.
No.
You're out of luck, Paul.
Zachariah.
What's up, Zach? Zachariah?
Zachariah.
Okay.
Do they sell chin polish, Frank?
Ha!
Jared actually uses like one of those car waxing buffers, the thing that spins.
Yeah, polish up the jawline.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's how I chisel it up.
Yep.
The Dremel just couldn't handle it. All right, let's start doing some single passes now. Let's check it first. Oh no, we'll do. Let me see.
Wait, what? You can block while backstand?
What?
What?
What'd you say?
I was talking to my video.
Oh.
They said
Everybody
you
can hear
block.
your video.
No, they can't.
I can hear it.
Well, what they just
If
say?
I can hear it, then
What they just say?
I'm saying I hear it like this.
Can you hear it now?
Very much. Similar to.
Can you guys hear that?
Yes,
if I
they
do
can
that?
hear it. I'm telling you,
do
they can hear
this?
it. Yes, they can hear it for sure. If I can hear it, they can hear it.
They can't hear shit. I would have been hearing so many comments if they could hear it for real.
I'm probably just letting you ruin the video.
No.
They're gonna piss me off.
No.
Get you kicked out.
They only get mad when I yell in the background, not if I'm listening to lore. No one cares about my lore.
You're probably all watching lore too. That's probably why they can't hear it.
I hear it. People are just being polite. Oh, well, now
Told you.
I just held it up to the microphone.
No, they can hear it still.
Because,
I can hear it.
Okay, I've been listening to it this entire time. So are you guys saying this whole time you've heard it?
Not the whole time, for the past like 10 minutes.
No, it's been
15
for
minutes.
a while.
I've been
turned it up
listening.
because I couldn't hear.
Carol, if you knew how loud I could hear it right now, I know when it's on. It's right next to me.
Well, to you, but to them.
The microphone's right next to me. All right.
I just tuned Kara out.
So now
you're babbling.
we got 7/5 micron. So This is the beginning of our polishing stone. We have 2 polishing stones, 7/5 micron, 3/2 micron. 7/5 micron is about 3,500 grit. And this is a polish. We do not need to go to the 3/2 micron, but I like to in some cases. Both of them are great. So if you only have the 8, which this would be the 800 and this would be the 1200. If you only have the 800, that's fine. You really don't need the 1200 VENEV, which would be, like I said, like 5,000 grit, but you can if you want. It does polish it up a little bit more. Not much more, but a little bit more. Because the difference between 3,500 grit and 5,000 grit, it seems like a big number, a big jump, but the micron is so low that it's already a polish. So you're going from a polish to more polish. So yes, it is a little bit more polished, but it's not that big of a, it's not too dramatic. Let's do some single passes. This is going pretty well though. Most of the tip came out, but there is still quite a bit on one side, which is thicker. I have noticed that this side is thicker than the other side, which is why I had to even out the bevel a little bit. And on the next sharpening, I'll know that for sure. And it'll be something I'll jot down in my memory. So when I do resharpen it, I will, treat it as such. And the scratch pattern, or the scratches, or the pothole, I should say, that is at the very tip.
The pothole?
Yeah.
What does the state need to come fix it?
Yeah. The pothole that's at the tip of the edge will come out on the next sharpening. Okay. Now we're to a point to where I do not want to slip. If I slip and I hit this edge, it will cut me to the bone. It is incredibly, incredibly sharp. I can feel it. I can tell. And if I slip off right here and hit that edge right there going that way, whoo, like I said, I've done it before. Yes, it'd be smarter if I was holding this right here, so I'd be slightly protected, but maybe I should. I just feel like I have so much more control the other way. Is there any questions, comments, concerns?
I mean, Frank said the one thing I noticed with these systems is you tend to start to want to collect different stones. It's almost as bad as collecting knives.
Well, that's with any sharpening. Even if you do freehand, you're going to do that. Doesn't matter. But the reason, that's why, yes, you can collect a ton of stones. If you want to just skip all the stones and get the best, that's what you should do. Get diamonds. That's the point. Like, fuck everything else. Get diamond plates and then VENEVs. That's all you need. If you have a set of diamond plates and then a set of VENEVs, you have all the stones you will ever need. Now, yes, you're going to have to exchange out your diamond plates here and there, throughout time, but you will be able to sharpen any steel to any grit, get any type of edge you want on whatever steel. Now, yes, there are going to be maybe some carbon steels that do a little bit better on aluminum oxide or natural stones rather than diamond, but at least as far as for me goes, most of the knives I sharpen are not carbon steels. They're not simple steels. So, and the simple steels I do sharpen, most of them are like stainless. And then the carbon steels I do sharpen, I do have aluminum oxide or natural stones for. And to be honest, it's not much different. Like when I do sharpen them with diamonds, they take just as good of an edge. But yeah, you might see a small, tiny, minute difference between using a natural stone on carbon steels. But most of the steels I sharpen, like I said, are modern premium steels. So diamonds are the best. paper towel. This one's soaked. Hit this one for a couple more seconds. Little trick. So this is going to be a little trick for you guys that have a fixed angle system. It's called the back and forth motion. So you might have a little spot at the heel or the tip or someplace in the edge. It's very difficult to get. Lay your stone down on it, on that spot, and go like this, back and forth. Like, especially with polish, you can actually polish your edge like really good by doing this. Now it's just back and forth. So I'm not doing the scratch pattern this way.
Is the wicked edge a
now,
solid go-to? When
you get to the tip, you can do the tip like that. In many cases, it will help you get the very, very tippity tip of the apex of the tip by going back and forth, not back and forth like this, but back and forth sideways.
Did you hear me?
Yes, the Wicked Sharp. I've never tried it, but I know lots of people that do have it. And yeah, it's a USA made system, so I do love that about it. It's very, very expensive, you know, for what you're getting. And I personally would rather have a TSPROF just because you have to use their stones, I believe, with their system, with that system. So you have to get the Wicked Edge stone. So you don't have the ability, as far as I know, to get all the different kinds of stones like I can for this. With this system, I can use any type of stones I want. Oh yeah, one other stone you might want other than that, than the diamonds, and this is a ceramic stone.
Are you putting pressure both ways or just a forward stroke?
Both ways, but I'm not here, I gotta switch. So I'm putting pressure, but I'm very light pressure because this is my polishing stone. So it's very, very light pressure. Now, when I do single strokes, I'm obviously only going one direction. I'm going from heel to tip, and then I'm lifting up and I'm coming back. But when I go like this, I'm doing both directions. I'm just doing it in reverse. So the exact motion I do this way, I do the exact same thing in reverse. And I mean that it in a way, like I'm not just scrubbing back and forth. I'm actually, the way I'm applying pressure. So like if I'm holding this thing a little bit at an angle, and then when I'm going this way, I kind of turn it and rotate it up, I do the exact same thing on the way back, so that it has the exact identical scratch pattern. But in the end, you can do single passes. You just have to do a lot of them. Single passes moving one direction in order to ensure your scratch pattern is running all one direction. Just like that. I'm lifting up and I'm going back to the heel. Before we finish, we need to apply our gunny juice to our strop really quick. We have 0.1 micron gunny juice. It's 0.1, by the way. You guys can see it. So just going to put a little bit on this. Let it dry because this one kind of takes a second because it's a non-porous leather. I have different kinds of leather. My other one actually absorbs a lot faster. But while we're finishing up, we'll let that dry. Okay, now when I move to this other side, I want to make sure I start off with a reverse pass because I should have a micro burr. Not much of a burr because these stones are so fine, and that's why you really don't need to strop. But there is a micro burr, so I want to reverse pass it. I want to remove it because I want to. One of the most important parts about sharpening is how you do your burr removal.
Paul's back.
Oh, what's up, Paul? You're back. Your burr removal is going to determine whether or not you have the best edge retention that edge could have, whether or not it's going to microchip easily, whether or not it could roll, whether or not it's sharp, whether or not, like, everything falls on that, how you did the apex reveal. And I say the apex reveal because the burr is what's over the apex and what you're removing to bring out the apex. Sorry, the burr is what you remove to bring out the apex. So when knocking the burr off, revealing a nice, clean, perfect apex is so important. So how you do it is going to determine how your edge comes out. So really quick, I'm just going to look at something really quick. Yeah. So it keeps drying up on me.
Jared, have you tried pulling your edge through a cork to remove the micro burr? I found it works nicely.
Yeah, I've done everything: wood, cork, rubber. I've used just about everything. Now I just use the strop. Like sometimes I'll run it through. It depends on the burr. It depends on the steel. Depends on the burr. But most of the time, sometimes I'll run it across wood. But most of the time, what I do is I just make sure I am knocking the burr off nice and cleanly with my reverse passes and forward passes, and then hitting the strap. And usually I do a really good job at that, and I can reveal the best possible apex with freehand or fixed angle. Because with freehand, you really don't need to do any type of a wood thing. You can just do it with your stones because your angle is fixed. The reason why some people might have a problem deburring or doing a burr removal with freehand is because they're struggling to hold a perfect angle and flipping back and forth
without also work great for burr removal.
Yeah, without micro beveling it. And you're trying not to micro bevel. So right now I'm doing my burr removal right now.
Quick question. Zachariah wants to know if you were only focusing on sharpening for a full-time job, do you have enough work to make it your only income?
I could, but I don't want to.
Oh my goodness, the amount of requests. But it's just like when
I don't have enough time and patience.
It's a time issue.
Yeah.
Think about doing like everything by hand. It's like even if you have the work, you couldn't probably keep up with it fast enough to make the meaningful income.
Well, I don't know if I would want to. That's the thing. I love sharpening, guys. I absolutely love sharpening, but I don't want to hate it. And, you know, me running a service is awesome. I like doing it. But if I do it full time, I would not enjoy the work no more. My hands would be moist and like all day because it does. Your hands get moist. And after doing 3-4 knives in a row, you feel it. Like you feel it in your skin. You feel it on your hands. Your nails look like shit. Your hands start cramping. Like I get carpal tunnel. Oh, shit. I messed up just now, guys. Oops. Rookie mistake. I got to line up my angle for my strap. Right there. Whoops. But now we did a burr removal. Now we are just cleaning up the edge. This really, I don't need to do any stropping, but I'm going to. It's just going to help bring out any scratches that might be left from the 2 micron, or at least a little bit, because I like a little bit of scratches. I do not want it so mirrored that there is no scratches at all. And the reason why is because that's when it can get really slick, especially after you start using it. So if you have it's very polished, like you can read off of it, everything. But if you like catch it at certain angles, you see a little tiny bit of scratch pattern. That is, in my opinion, the best possible edge you can put on a knife. You want to be able to see a tiny, tiny hint of micro scratching, because that's going to ensure that you have a lot of bite from that edge, which we are done. Let's take this baby out and test her out.
You know what's funny, Zeroster? I actually walked downstairs last night. I left my computer on alone with Jared, and I look over, and he's actually playing Elden Ring. It was
It's not true.
It was a rare
not
moment,
true.
but he was.
Not
He
true.
took my controller, figured out how to
Not true.
unpause it. He went through all that trouble. How many buttons did you go through before you figured out how to unpause
About
it?
16.
16. I don't think there's 16 buttons,
Oh.
but well, I guess there is on the
I
keyboard.
don't know.
Yeah, he did it, and I came back and all my rooms were gone because he didn't understand that that's a permanent thing. But that's okay. It's all right. Did you kill anything?
Yeah.
Did you?
Yeah, I did.
Good job.
I was killing
Yeah,
it.
Actually, when it first came out, I randomly handed him the controller and told
And I
him
kicked ass.
to fight a dragon, and
I
he
kicked
literally got the health bar more than halfway down. I was absolutely shocked because it wasn't like a starting dragon; it was the one in KADET.
Kicking ass.
Would Jared ever play Rocket League against bots? Maybe. I was trying to get him to play some Call of Duty today. He's good at Call of Duty.
All right, I did not put any Schmitty on my thumb stud. Maybe I will after we're done with this.
It's not true. Also, Jared, 16 buttons.
Ooh, that is fucking sharp, boy. All right, let's try it on the paper towel test. Raise you guys up just a little bit. All right. Damn it, this thing is...
Blades and Fate says he
Look at that. Woo!
Can I say
And
it?
that's on an 80-20. Yeah.
Blades and Fate says he straps on basswood and occasionally will run the edge across some balsa. It's a very similar effect as the cork, but he said for some reason he thinks the cork works better. Just like as an end game thing, just one light swipe at the end.
You got it?
You don't do that?
No, you see what I just did, and look at how good it is. It's perfecto. And remember, this thing's like 30 thousandths thick behind the edge. This thing's thick as
You
a...
only went to 17, right?
Yeah. Went to 17 degrees per second. Actually, a little. I went to 18. Actually, it's like 17.5 to 18.
Wow, that's a really pretty edge. I didn't know
Careful.
you were doing a mirror.
Mm-hmm.
That's a pretty mirror.
All right, let's show it off.
I do my makeup in that beach. Watching Jared stream any game would be hilarious.
Come on, focus.
I want
fucker.
him to stream us split screen Black Ops 3 Zombies. I think that'd be good because, you know, that's a game he actually knows pretty well.
You can see the very tip, how I did not get all the way down to the apex on the very tip. That'll come out on the next sharpening. I do not want to remove a ton of steel in order to hit that. So it looks really good, though. You guys can see.
Q1 being coming in with the Boston accent. Wicked shot.
Baston. Yeah, it's wicked shot.
People always say Baston, but that is totally not how they even pronounce Boston. Baston.
Yeah, this thing is very, very sharp. I'm very happy with it. So now I'm happy to carry it because I wasn't carrying it there because it was dull. And I want to be able, I like carrying knives that I have my edge on because then, you know, if I show anybody my edge, they're like, whoa, what the fuck? How the hell did you sharpen this thing? And I'm like, oh, that's a Neeves knives edge. But yeah, you know, I like to carry my edges because then I'm proud of it. Not saying that if it's a good factory edge, I won't carry it because I will. And I'll carry it until it gets dull. As you can see, I've had this thing for a long time. And this is the first edge I've put on this one. I've sharpened a bunch of 80-20s, but this one in particular, I was trying to save as long as possible. I love this knife. And just like with any knife that you love a lot, you're trying to make it last forever.
Why don't you pull the camera back up if you're done?
Sorry, guys. All right. But yeah, you want to try to make it last as long as possible. Let me turn you guys a little bit this way. So I wasn't trying to sharpen it right away, and and unnecessarily either. I want to, use it all the way until there's no choice but to sharpen it with knives like this. Now, some knives, even though I love them a lot, I might not take it that far. As soon as it's, somewhat dull, I'll just resharpen or hone it. But some knives you just, take a little bit further because you don't want to, what
grit did you end with?
3/2 micron or 5,000 grit. And then I stropped on 0.1 micron gunny juice.
Yeah, he went to a mirror polish, so 800 I don't think would do a mirror polish.
No, well, the 800 VENEV is 3,500 grit.
Oh, he was asking in VENEV language.
I did the last one was the 1200 VENEV, which is 3/2 micron or 5,000 grit. I know that's a lot to say. The reason why VENEVs have different numbers on them is because they use a different system. Like we use, I think the G system, whatever, they use an F rating. So theirs is by micron. So their 800 stone is their 800 stone is 7/5 micron, which is about 3,500 grit. Their last stone, which is their 1200, is 3/2 micron, which is about 5,000 grit. And then I stropped on Gunny juice, Gunny emulsion, diamond emulsion to 0.1 micron. Now I could have used multiple strops and made it, you know, even more shinier, but I don't want to polish out the teeth, and it has a lot of bite right now, like a lot of bite. So
don't do that.
I don't want a itch.
You're gonna get a patch.
So I don't want to mess that up.
Ow. Did that hurt you?
Right? No.
I just
Sorry.
scratched your elbow with you, like, yeah.
I didn't feel it. All right, guys. Any questions before we take off? I'm sure a lot of you guys want to get out of here. Yeah, final conversation. First of all, thank you guys for joining, and also shout out to everybody who donated. Thank you guys. We do appreciate it. This is our full-time job, so it's a massive
Severe Deceit made a comment. I've had one edge come out really sharp. Shaving sharp. The opposite edge is not sharp. I can't feel a burr, but I suspect there's a micro burr.
Okay, so are you talking about two different knives or the same knife?
I think he's talking about the same knife.
Read that again.
I've one edge come out really sharp. Shaving sharp. The opposite edge isn't sharp. It's almost like one part of the apex. Maybe he's thinking like that. It's like this. So if it's like still enough to like pop a hair, but then the other side.
So you just didn't spend enough time on one of the sides.
That's the way I'm taking it, at least.
One of two things. One, your edge angle could be off from one side to the other, and number two, which is very likely, the grind is off.
Yeah, same knife you said.
So if the grind is off, like we were talking about with this one, right? It's common. You might have to spend more time on one side. And now sometimes people think like, well, like 3 minutes. No, sometimes it's like a long time because sometimes the grind is off. It's thicker on one side. So do not think that like, oh, it took me 10 minutes on this side. It should take me 10 minutes on the other side. It might take you 10 minutes on one side and an hour on the other side. So pay attention to your grip pattern. Pay attention to the burr. You want the scratch pattern to go from the top of the bevel to the apex. If the scratch pattern has not hit the apex yet, then you are not finished. And from heel to tip too. So you want the scratch pattern to hit from heel to tip, from the top of the edge bevel to the apex.
Kyle says, I'm just going to move this so I can see. Kyle says F1200 is 6894 jizz grit. What the fuck does that mean?
How much does it take to get to the center?
No, you're not reading the right one up here. What the fuck is that?
F1200 is 6,894. Just grit from a chart I have. Is that wrong? So there's the J rating, there's the F rating, and I think the G rating, if I'm correct. So they're all different. We use in America, we use grit.
I think he was
and
asking,
we use micron too, but theirs
he was
is
asking if his
different.
Conversion was right.
I don't know. You'd have to check it on Google.
Okay. Lawrence says so to resume TSPROF KADET, Atoma 140, couple of VENEV to 1200 plus Gunny juice, and I'm done.
Say that again.
TSPROF KADET, Atoma 140, couple of VENEV to 1200 Gunny juice, and I'm done.
You got it. You want 3 stones from the VENEVs. Coarse one, which is like an 80 and a 100, or an 80 and like a 160 or something like that. One of the coarsest ones, right? Then you want a medium grit, and you want these 2 stones exactly. You want the 50/40 micron and the 20/14 micron. Then for a polishing stone, you want the 800 and 1200, which is 3/2 micron and 5/7 micron. So those are the 3 stones you want from VENEV. You only need 3 double-sided. Sorry, if they're 3 double-sided, so that's 6 stones altogether. If you get the single-sided stones, you'll have to get all 6. But if you get the double-sided, you only got to get 3. Severe, thank you for the 5 bones, man. I appreciate it.
Thanking you for answering his question.
No problem. Anytime.
So Roaster's really excited that you read his Tootsie Pop comment. You read it so like it was like a real question too. What is the answer? Have you ever done that?
What?
I literally counted one time.
No, I don't got time for that. I already bought a digital microscope for my daughter for Christmas, and I will borrow it to check if I'm good. There you go. That's what's up.
Your daughter wanted a digital microscope?
Yeah, like the one I have back there.
Why did she want that? That's interesting.
Well, to look at things. You didn't want one of those when you were a kid? Like, I
digital...
used to want a microscope so bad. I wanted to look at bugs and just dumb shit.
I get, my dad always had one, I guess.
Got him.
So maybe I didn't yearn for it because he always had the one.
Yeah, Frank,
she didn't want it. You just got it for her?
There's a chart. Yeah, you can get a chart, but you can easily Google it. Like you can literally, they have a conversion chart right on Google. You just say, whatever grit into micron. Like say, if you want to know what's 600 grit into micron or what's 3 micron into grit, you can just look it up and it'll tell you.
He said
it's very fast. Like I can do it in 10 seconds with my phone.
He said she didn't want the microscope. He was just searching for an excuse.
That's funny.
Oh my god!
I thought you'd love it, sweetheart. Look, we can kill spiders.
Wife. It's all a ruse. Oh my god! Yeah, everyone's saying they have a chart on GRITOMATIC.
This is the 80/20. Now there is the 80/20.5 titanium with 3V available right now with my Blade. I'm
still convinced that's because the angle's
trying to sell a blade. I'm trying to sell a fucking knife right now. Okay, guys.
Well, you're selling. It's gonna sell because of the angle you're holding your chin at right now. It's already sold. Yeah, that's gonna get him. It's gonna get him.
3/2 micron. Sorry. No, but yeah, if you guys do want to get the 80/20.5, the full tie 3V, it's a little expensive. It's a lot more expensive than the OS 10 one, but I would way more recommend that because of the titanium and the 3V over the OS 10 Grivery scales. And they were, I think it was Knife Center was saying that they were selling like hotcakes on their site. It was their #1 selling knife of the year by far. They said that knife sold more knives, like double as much as the second place or something like that. That's crazy. Quit looking at my jaw.
I'm just looking at you.
I can feel
no, that wasn't a jaw look. I was looking into
Formula One.
I was looking into your eyes.
Boink.
Eyes are the window to the soul.
You think so?
I was staring into your soul.
Think so?
Yeah. I just you're cute when you talk about things you love.
What was
Kara, please. I'm sorry, I missed it.
Go ahead. I found 3 different charts. Like I said, man, as long as you're close, like it's not that big of a deal. But yeah, like I said, you can Google it. Google to me works really good. You can just ask, right?
Kara,
you just literally say it in your phone.
Question. Thank you.
Like if I were on the phone right
here. Wait, I found it.
There's an actual chart they have too, so you can put in wherever you want. So, like, say if I say grit into micron, so now a chart will pop up right here. I just clicked on it, and you just put it in into the micron, and then push the button, and it'll give you. Oh, sorry. You just put it in. So all I did was just look it up. Now, if I wanted them to answer for me, 600 grit into micron. And then it will convert right here. It says it on the thing, and then you can just type it in. You can type it in, or they usually will tell you. But
that was a love bell.
Thank you, Lawrence69 with the 5 bones. I appreciate that. I don't know what's the sticker. Look at the sticker.
Those are crackers.
Thank you for the crackers. We do appreciate it. What was his question?
I put it on the screen for you.
All right, what's the highest grit you think is good for crew wear, and what's your opinion on basswood versus leather? I use Gunny Juice on both, and seems my edge is always sharper with basswood. Basswood, the reason why it would work better, so it depends on so I think there's different leathers, right? So I noticed my firm leather does better with Gunny Juice as well. Now the strops that I actually have from Gunny Juice are they're like a fabric. It's really weird. I've used them a few times. They're almost like cotton. They're supposed to break down. That's supposed to be the best for his stuff because that's what he made it for. I don't know if that's true or not. I've used it, but I always usually prefer my firm, dense leather, not the soft. I do have supple leather, but this is the firm leather. Now, the reason why basswood sometimes might work better for you is because it's flatter and firmer. So as long as you have the micron on there and your angle is nice and flat, yeah, it's possible that that could work better. But it's going to depend on your pressure, the way you do it, things like that. Those little details matter, because like with basswood, you're not getting the flex from the leather. The leather you do. So you're going to have to be a little bit more gentle with the leather than you might have to be with the basswood. But where's it? Come on. Where'd it go?
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought that was your answer.
No, there was more question. I don't remember. All right. So the best grit for crew wear, or the highest grit you can go with crew wear.
I got in trouble.
I would say, you know, I normally just go to 5,000 grit and then I strop to like 1/4 micron, 1 micron, something like that. I normally don't take it any farther than that, which that's already like very, very high. It's like 50,000 grit or something. I don't even know. But I would say off the stone, like not including stropping, just off the stone, I would say 10,000 grit is probably the highest you can go. But I usually go to 5,000 grit. Because I like having a very, very light scratch pattern, even with my polishes, because that way I can ensure that there's teeth at the apex. I do not want to polish it to the point to where there's no bite. Even though it's a mirror edge, microscopically, there's a little bit of scratches. But then you strop. Frank Martin with the 3 bones. Thank you, man. You guys are awesome, man. Coming in hot with the donies. We do appreciate it.
Answer this weird question from Kyle.
Okay. Kyle says, Jared, can you please explain gravity pull in relation to rotational forces and how that interfaces with sharpening angle?
Interacts. I don't even know what the fuck that means.
He's being a smart ass.
I think so too, but I'm trying to still figure it out and
I am
logic
too.
into
my
an
brain is sitting here
illogical
working. I
situation.
got gears just rolling.
Gravity
right now.
pull. All I'm thinking of is you pulling the gravity of the stone itself as you're pulling the rod through. Rotational forces.
I would say none of it matters, and the reason why is because it's going to depend on the pressure of which you are applying, which is going to be different from the gravity.
Here, answer that one.
Can you please explain how
Coriolis effect
helps set the diamond emulsion on the strop? I don't know what that means. Drying. That's the only thing I can think of. But when you're probably being a smart ass right now, but you just let it dry. That's it. But with gunny juice, it dries fast. So just apply it, spread it, and leave it. Smart ass. I'm trying to keep this beautiful couple on screen longer. Good luck. Good luck. Because I'm gonna be getting out of here in 1 minute.
Yeah, we went 2 hours today.
Has it been 2 hours?
Yeah.
Yeah,
almost.
that knife. Well, anytime you reprofile something thick like this, it's gonna take a while. That's why a lot of people they mistake how long they should spend on the stone. And a lot of times people spend like an hour on the stone and then think like, oh man, it should be done by now. What am I doing wrong? All these things. Until. How long does it take to sharpen? Until.
Got a question.
So there's so many factors. Depends on the grit you're starting with, how thick it is, the steel. All these factors play a part in how long it's going to take. And there is no answer. It's going to take until it's done. Jared, can you please explain how string theory created your immaculate jawline? Genetics, buddy. Genetics.
Probably created the symmetry. 2 particles present in the same place at once. Isn't that what string theory has to do with? Like the fact that 2 particles can potentially be interconnected, although they can't prove how, but one reacts and the other reacts, and it's like really the same particle in 2 places, and they really can't quite prove how that works, but it has to do with string theory. That was a super, super layman's term version of explaining
genetics.
But I'm
Let's
pretty sure
that's,
you know.
Yeah, genetics.
What the fuck? That's not a sniper level from COD? What? I'm confused. Okay. Quantum entanglement chiseled that jawline. Oh, quantum entanglement. Isn't that what I was just saying, actually? When 2 particles are entangled? I think they're related, the 2 theories.
Well, I got to get ready for my 11.5-hour shift. You all have a great night. Frank, be well,
Frank the Tank, the new Spartan.
Yes, our new Spartan. Have a good time at work. Definitely get to work, and hopefully you bust ass today, and hopefully it's a good day. Yeah.
We're doing a
Good luck.
giveaway
Good
next time, and we're giving away the TSPROF next time. Next members live.
Yeah.
One last question, please. All right, hit
Now
us with it.
listen, the stones though, you're gonna have to get your own damn stones. I might be able to throw in some cheap stones or something, or some little diamond plates, but they're probably not gonna be brand new. And they're probably going to be some like just some diamond plates that I have, like some TSPROF diamond plates, which I do not recommend anybody buy. But they came with the system, so that'll probably be what I'll send. You're going to have to get your own stones, which the most important part is done. You got the system, so getting stones, and the stones I'll send with you, you'll still be able to do something with, but it'd be in your best interest to get some VENEVs and some Atomas.
Blades and Fades wants a idea for his 2K celebration from you.
Say that again.
He wants an idea for his 2K celebration from you.
2K celebration. What kind of celebration?
Like a video.
Okay, a video. Okay, I would say do something that like that people are gonna want to watch and see.
Oh,
like,
really?
Like,
such a good idea.
Shut the fuck up. Like maybe eating something crazy, eating something weird that might be cool.
Yeah, eat some weird shit.
Like something like really fucking weird. Like
my childhood snack that I used to eat.
Nuts, some squirrel nuts.
No, this is a really good idea.
Eyeballs.
You eat Karen Neeves snacks you used to eat as a child. Do you remember what it was? My weird childhood snack.
Yeah, mustard and something.
It was red apples sliced, dipped in peanut butter with a little dip of mustard, yellow mustard. Okay, you eat that. That'll bring the fans in. That'll bring them in.
You can do that. You can do a giveaway.
Or you could do like a sharpening challenge.
Giveaways are always nice.
Yeah, giveaway. But you could do like a sharpening challenge, like how
you could do
fast you could do this or that, or something weird, or a crazy recurve blade.
You could do a game show.
A game show?
Yeah. Do a game show. People can win shit.
And that shit's treacherous on the lives, man, though. You're gonna get a lot of emails with screenshots talking about I won.
Well, no,
I still have PTSD from that shit.
Spinning wheels. You do all spinning wheels.
What, put everyone's name?
No, you'd be like Q1 Fiend. You just want to spin.
Do the cinnamon challenge. You could do that. That's hilarious.
That is funny.
But no, for real, you could do like sharpening is a big part of your domain.
What t-shirt knife sharpening? There you go.
If you did something in relation to sharpening, but made it like a little bit crazy, like even if the knife itself was something crazy or something expensive, if you could find someone to loan you something like, you know, a rock said, you could just ruin whatever that weird bevel is they do or don't do on it.
Ruin somebody's knife after they borrowed it to you? Is that what you just said?
No, I just mean like sharpening a knife that like people almost don't want to see sharpened because it's so nice in a way. You know, like a rock said where they have that zero grind or whatever it is that they do.
Yeah, but he'd be putting an edge bevel.
I know.
So yeah, you can do that.
You know,
do a
you
good
could
job
just
with it.
Find somebody that'll loan you one and doesn't care.
What a sniper has to calculate in long distance.
Yes,
shots.
thank you, Kyle.
Oh, gotcha.
You cured my PTSD.
Is the curvature of the earth that makes I get it.
What? Oh, the Coriolis effect?
Yeah. I get it.
Yeah, but yeah, I think that would be a good idea, is to think about a way to go about like sharpening in a fun, crazy way, and then a giveaway. Yeah, sharpening a Dolica, or just something really informational that people want to see, like sharpening serrations. Like we get that a lot. Sharpening VEF serrations, because I like VEF serrations the best, and it's all about me somehow. And yeah, something like that. Blindfolded sharpening.
Oh, fuck
that's
yeah. That
such a good
super
idea.
Super safe.
You should do that. Would you
Me?
do that? You could do it blindfolded. I could play the piano blindfolded. You could do that blindfolded.
Yeah, probably.
I mean, the difference is the piano keys won't slice my fingers off if I mess up.
I couldn't do fixed angle blindfold, but I could do
freehand. Yeah. Sharpen a handle to see if the world starts turning backwards. Yeah, that's a good idea. No, I think the blindfold idea is low-key kind of a good idea, as long as you do it safely.
Yeah, you don't have to give something away. You could just give away your time, right? Give away your time by doing something fun. Do something fun. You could give away some sharpenings. That's something you can give away. You can like give away like three sharpenings.
Oh yeah, that's
So
a really good
you
idea.
can give away some free sharpenings. You can do a sharpening video where you sharpen something special, like very special, like she was saying. You could eat something hot and spicy and fuck yourself up and get bubble guts for the next 3 days.
People just want to see you
People
hurt yourself.
love when you hurt yourself. People will love to see.
That's why people used to always give me the super sticker falling out of the computer chair.
And they want to know that you had fire ass for a week. If you can get that, fucking win-win.
David Anderson was opening and closing folding knives, guessing the model blind. Okay, I can't even do that contest with Jared. If I hand him the knife, he's getting it right. Like, period. Especially when our collection was smaller, we would both do that to each other where we would hand each other a knife. It was so easy that it just wasn't even a thing. Like, it was such an easy win. But the sound of the knife, I can't believe how many you can still get right with the size of our collection. But feeling the knife, I just think that's a little too easy personally.
Yeah.
As long
if
as
I
you
get
know
it in my hand, I'm gonna know what it is.
Right. And you like,
but
yeah.
the sound though, like some of my knives, like now that the collection's so big, I'm definitely going to be off on some. But when we used to only have like 50 to 100 knives, I could get damn near every single one.
Yeah, we both could. It was so easy.
But now though, yeah, our collection's
a
little too big, but I can still get a lot of them.
I would know the knife. I would struggle with the name. That would be the thing. Like, I would know what knife is in my hand, what it looks like, everything, but I would probably forget some model names just because of how many there are.
3 different level grit cut tests on finger. Which one cuts deeper? There you go.
You could test your sharpening stones and see which one makes the best nail file. That would be a good one. Paint your nails after. And then
no fire ass, please.
1,500 meter high hurdle sharpening. Sharpening.
That's
yeah.
funny.
There's a lot of ways you could just make sharpening more dangerous and people would find that.
You could do some edge tests. That's really cool.
Oh, yeah. You could get a ballistic skull. Do like we did with old Freddy.
Well, no, because I'm not saying spend a bunch of money. I'm saying like
oh yeah, I guess those
you
aren't
can sharpen
cheap.
3 different knives, right? Say 3 different knives, all at the same angle, at different grits and finishes. Then you can get a specific material, whatever it is, and see which one gets the better cut. Like, and you'd have to do it based off like weight or something. Like where, like, say you take the paper towel. And this is just like for reference. And I'm not saying use paper towel, but something. And then maybe use just the weight of the knife, which that would be determined too, because that'd be a factor. And then see if it can cut through the thing with just the weight of the knife without sawing motions or anything like that. Like this one's doing pretty good, actually. Wow. I'm surprised.
Is there a world record for the sharpest knife?
Yeah, it's Neeves knives.
Hold on. I want to see for real. World record for the sharpest knife. Guinness World Records knives grind.
Oh, I gotta fuck that guy up.
There's a lot of Guinness World Records that everyone is familiar on. There's some crazy and random stuff on here. More knives thrown around a human target in 1 minute. Most expensive knife. Most multifunctional pen knife. Look at that thing!
What is that? Oh, that's like
it's like a Swiss Army knife that's this thick with tools on it. Most swallowed sword, smallest knife. Oh, I
swallowed the smallest knife.
It's probably like, but I
take it like a pill.
I don't see a world's sharpest knife. You could apply to the Guinness Book of World Records for your 2,000 sub thing, and then tell them you're gonna do the world's sharpest knife. You could do anything if you're the only entry. Yep. Literally any
somebody
knife you
have to prove and beat you,
and then Jared could swing in
and beat you.
Stomp. No,
I'll have them the day after.
Imagine if you really did that though. You reached out to them. You're like, "Hey, I want this record," because they'll create.
They'll show
records.
up. They'll show
up. You do your schmitty. They'll be on your little live.
You have to probably do it on the best test thing. The thing is, though, is that they wouldn't know any difference, but you could cheat it.
That's the point. It wouldn't matter if there's no record. You could have the dullest knife, and it would still be the sharpest.
Like right now, I guarantee I could make this. Like right now, I'd probably say this thing's probably like a 120, right? But I could definitely make it a 5.
I'm like literally not even joking. That would be so cool if you contacted them and we're just like, I want to open for this record. I want to do the world's sharpest knife. And then you dance.
No, you don't have to pay them.
I don't think you do.
No,
I think they just come out.
Yeah, they just come out.
I mean, you could just research it and just see. That would be really cool. But then you'd have everyone trying to beat you, man. You would have everyone going after it.
And they'd be like, how the fuck did 35 people all of a sudden come out of the woodwork?
Yeah, just randomly for this record.
Wanting their edges checked.
You could host a competition
That is one thing when you take certain steels, especially because, like I said, this didn't feel the hardest, right? So here's
yeah, I know formula. Sorry, go ahead.
Here's an observation really quick. So like I was saying, when I was sharpening, this didn't feel very hard, right? Didn't feel like it was 62 or 63 or anything. It felt like, probably 60. That's what I would think it would feel like. Or that's what I think. That's not a fact. I just feel like it doesn't feel super hard. Doesn't feel super soft. So I'm guessing it's right there in the middle. Now, polishing something like this, 20 CV with the stick behind the edge, if I had 15 degrees per side, it would have a lot more bite. But since it's about 17 and a half, 18 degrees per side, it doesn't have as much bite. It still has a lot of bite. But just using it that little bit kind of takes away that bite because it's so polished. So hitting it on a strop really quick can help bring back that bite a little bit. But that shows you, though, like that if it was a higher HRC, it would hold that bite faster and longer. So I can tell right now that unless if I lower back my angle to 15 degrees per side, or I could lower my grit, but having a polished edge like this at this angle will not do well. It will lose its bite very fast. Like if I go and start cutting cardboard right now, by the end of it, my edge will probably be pretty slick. Will it be still sharp? Yes. We'll still be able to shave paper and stuff. Yes. But that high level of bite that you feel from your edge, it will not have. Unless if I lower back my edge angle or
it's too tight.
Lower the grit. Go ahead.
I have a really fun idea. Could you imagine if we found like a central location, roughly central to the creators that would be involved in this, okay? Like knife tubers.
Talking about like place?
Just, yeah, if we rented out like a little warehouse space or some sort of a space where we could have like host something, okay? And we set up little stations with the same exact sharpening equipment, same exact stones, same exact knife, okay? Factory edges on all of them, brand new. Get a company to sponsor it, give the knife for free, get a sharpening company to sponsor it, put the systems out for free. We could even give the systems back, okay? Set it up, invite, I don't know, 10 people that are on knife YouTube that sharpen, that's kind of their thing, right? Like people like Blades and Fades, yourself, whatever. And then host a YouTube televised fucking contest to see who can get the lowest number on the Schmitty.
Yeah, like I said,
that would be a sick show.
I know, but like I just said, that can be cheated. It can be cheated.
But we would be trying to eliminate all the variables.
I understand that, but this is the thing. Like I personally, I know it's for fun, but the guy who fucking loses or wins is going to feel very good or very bad about it. Like say, it doesn't matter, but yeah, that'd be very cool. Yes, you can use 4-inch stones on this because all you do is just loosen up this and this thing moves. So you can put whatever stone you want in here. It's better to use 6-inch because you get more distance, but yes, you can totally use 4-inch stones on this system. I do have a full review of this system that I posted earlier today if you want to watch it.
See? So Blades and Fades is in for the competition.
Well, I think too, but I'm just saying though, like knowing what I know about the best tester, right? I'm just saying, like right now, I just told you that this thing's probably a 120, but if I wanted to, I could make it a 5.
Well, it's just the
no, just think about that. I want you to fucking think about that.
Then find a different way to measure it then. Like
that's the most accurate thing we have.
Okay, but instead
it's very difficult to measure levels of
you could still do you could do like a forged and fire style, like it will cut thing where you like just go through the tests and see who's performs the best and have judges, right? You could have 3 judges. The judges could be
they're the ones using the knives.
The judges could be me, Lindy Lou, and Richie, and somebody else.
We'll call in fucking the guys from that.
Doug Mycarta. I always call him Mycarta.
Him, and then Jason Knight.
But yeah, we could get some damn judges, you know what I mean? And then just do it based off judges. So it's not so scientifically accurate.
And Lynn Thompson, will have him come too.
And then
Lynn Thompson would love that shit.
And then literally do the tests, and we could even do it blind where we don't know who did the tests.
We'll have to do a freehand one and a fixed angle system one separately. Because freehand sharpening, you shouldn't compare it to fixed angle.
I was just thinking fixed angled systems personally, but because freehanders want to make sure they get to freehand.
Well, right, but the point is though, is that like 2 people using a fixed angled system, like the variables could be like the steel, the hardness.
But you didn't hear me though. we would have to try to eliminate that by having a company donate a bunch of the
exact
same
same
knife.
shit. I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. What I'm saying though is that the one thing that would determine like really like figuring out who's better would be freehand, because in that case you're the one sharpening.
Yeah.
You have to hold the angle.
I think a freehand competition would be fun. And I also think the best way to go about it would be to do it at the same time as Blade Show.
I already told people that I would.
No, check this out. You could do it the same time as Blade Show because people are already congregating there in the first place. So then you could have a damn studio audience during the fucking thing. Wouldn't that be so much fun?
I think it'd be fun. And I already said that, like, win or lose, like, it wouldn't matter if I lost, but like I would put my freehand edge up against anybody's edges, even a fixed angle edge, and I would probably lose in many cases against certain people, freehand versus fixed angled, but I'd probably win a bunch too. But I'm that confident with my freehand edges now. But I do think it's better to do versus, like freehand versus freehand, fixed angle versus fixed angle, because they are a little bit different. Like, yes, I can get a perfect V grind edge on freehand, but in many cases, I feel like my best edges are slight convex, and I personally think that a slight convex is even better than a fixed angled edge. And the reason why is because you still have the high level of sharpness without sacrificing a little bit of toughness. You're getting a little tiny bit more toughness, which makes your apex a little bit more stable. And you wind up finding out over testing a lot of knives that it doesn't microchip as easy. It holds up a little bit easier. In many cases, it has a lot more bite. That's another thing.
Oh yeah, you could do whittling hair.
Hair whittling
as like one of the things that also requires skill to know how to whittle the hair too. Like,
and
you have to kind of know how to do it.
The same hair.
But like, if
so
everyone
you get horsetail hair.
To be fair, if people knew that they were coming to do this, they would have time to practice all that shit anyway. Like, you enter at your own risk, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah. I would guess if you're entering into hair whittling tests, you've hair whittled.
Right. I swear it would be so much fun. Just do it at Blade Show, like either like the day before, the day after Blade Show, you know, so it's not going on during Blade Show, but like right at that time, so that people aren't buying separate plane tickets to come do this, but it would be convenient.
Read that one.
I always test multiple ways, though, not just best tests, also paper towel, phone book, paper, whittling hair, all that shit. Have an unbiased judge do all the testing. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you'd have to have an unbiased judge. Like, I was only kidding when I said it would be me.
That's the problem with the best test. So the problem with it is yes, you could put in a lot of faith in the person, thinking that they are going to be as honest as possible and go as slow as possible, but all it takes is for him to be a little bit faster for the test, and it's not going to be as accurate. So that's the problem with the best test. I'm not saying it's not accurate if you're using it for yourself.
Oh, he's saying you wouldn't do your own testing. You would have a judge that tests everyone's stuff.
Right, I said that. Yeah, that's fine, but that you'd have to have a lot of faith in that guy, thinking that he's going to do it right, as honest as possible.
Yeah, I don't want to do it myself.
It's very easy to lie. That's all I'm saying.
Because it's kind of like in Fortune Fire, where they get to swing, or no, they don't. The judges swing the
judges
stuff.
Do it, yeah.
Yeah, see, that would piss me off. And you've seen that on Fortune Fire, where the people are like, he didn't swing it right.
Right, like he swung it so much harder with this guy. He was like a little bitch. Yeah, no, that's how you're going to feel no matter what. But at the end of the day, you know, it is what it is, right? In the end of the day, there's a lot of it where it's going to be on merit, but there might be a tiny, tiny, tiny bit of luck, right?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, everyone would have to go in knowing that it's just for fun. But I bet you could get like a company like
It won't make you get.
That's what I'm answering right now. I bet you could get a company.
Why don't you read it first so that they know what you're talking about?
Okay, he was saying, where would you really want to be in charge of a bunch of people feverishly sharpening blades? Where can you hold such an event that wouldn't make you get insurance for it? I don't know that you'd have to get insurance for it, just like, especially if you just have people sign an at your own risk waiver. I think that would be your insurance, like some sort of a waiver that you would just get, you know, legally sound. But I bet you could get a company like We or Savidi or Kaiser, somebody like that, right, to like sponsor the event and use their knife. Because the thing is not only would the content be on our channel as the show, but any YouTuber who's in the competition can film with their own shit too, right, and get their own little point of view of the thing. And so that knife company and the sharpener, whoever company is that, their like stuff would be going on multiple channels from just donating one set of things, and we wouldn't even have to keep the shits. We could give them back. You know what I mean?
I think it'd be cool, like, say if you had, like, say a whole bunch of sharpeners, right? You have 2 different levels, maybe freehanders and fixed angles, right? 2 different things, all given maybe the same knives, different knives. Maybe they bring in their own knives. Regardless, you could do different knives. It doesn't matter, because the first test would be you sharpening, and then 3 judges observing your edge, nothing else, just observing, maybe touching, maybe, like touching and things like that, but really looking and observing your edge, because that is going to be a huge indicator. Like that's in many cases even better. This little test, just identifying, looking, staring, touching,
maybe
is even
you
more
should be a judge.
Is even more accurate than like cutting stuff, because you can really see how the apex is and everything. Anyways, but do that test first and then see who wins out of that, right? But I couldn't be a judge until I verified that I have credibility. So I'd have to win. I'd have to win a championship.
I think if you were hosting it, that you should be one of the judges.
Oh, if I hosted it.
Yeah, if we were hosting this thing and making a show out of it, like for YouTube, right? Like a little 2-3.
Yeah, I'm the judge and I'm in it.
No, you can't be both.
Anyways, but no, then after the observing, then there's like a cut test of some sort. Maybe the best test, maybe that, with the 3 guys, 3 different best tests, 3 different guys, all testing the same knife 3 different times to get an average score between the 6 tests, something like that, maybe, right? To where now it's going to be a little more accurate, because it's not based on one guy's test, it's based on 3, maybe, something like that. And then maybe the next thing would be, the final test would be impact. Where they're going to impact it into something. But now the problem is like, say if I wanted to do a thin knife and I brought like thin geometry, you brought thick geometry, technically the tester should know the difference and know like this one should be a little more stable than this one, or this steel or whatever. But if you're all doing the same knife, the same steel, same heat treat, same everything, then you can take out those variables.
Blades and Fades, somebody wanted to see it. It's a QSP.
Canary.
Yeah, Canary, I think. Blades and Fades, I'd say multiple test methods and multiple testers, 100%. Yeah, because you could just kind of average the score. Like if you used 5 different testers, right, for each person's thing, and you use 5 different testers. Why does it always try to look at you? Because it loves me. You could average the scores out and do it like that. That would be the most fair way. And you know what? The other thing would be cool is if we did do it at Blade Show, since not only like
you can't hear it.
Okay, but I can tell. But if we did that, we could sell like a limited number of studio audience tickets, right? Because we could probably just set up a row of like 50 chairs around the room, right? And like sell like a couple $10 tickets to try to like make some money back on the event, right? That would be so cool. That would be so cool. But the only thing would be like the only people that would be allowed to film in there would be the people in the contest and us, though, because otherwise shit would be getting leaked left and right.
I want to show you guys this. I don't know if I'll be able to
look into this genuinely.
I don't know if I'd be able to show you this accurately without it. Let me see. Let me get the thing. So talking about sharpening earlier, when I was talking about like the pothole thing. If you look at underneath the stone or underneath the edge near the apex, so like right around right here, you can see how even when the edge is hitting on different parts, it's missing a little bit underneath right by the choil. See how there's like a shadow underneath there? You guys might not be able to see it.
Scoot back a little bit from the lens. Yeah, right there. You're so much more focused there.
Right there. See how there's a shadow right there underneath the edge? That's what I was talking about. So like now when I'm sharpening, that part's harder to hit. So I have to remove enough steel until I hit the entire thing. And that's where like you can get the pothole effect that I was talking about earlier. Did make it a little bit sharper though. Anyways, guys, yeah, we should definitely maybe think about this for the next 5 years or something.
I'm going to look into it and see what all it would entail.
Take about 5 years.
I definitely think we could get some sponsors, though, no problem. Especially if we did it in conjunction. Actually, Blade Show, they have, I don't know if you guys have ever noticed with Blade Show Atlanta, but they have like classes you can join into like the day before the actual show, they'll have like, you know, like somebody like Ray Laconico teaching knife making.
Yeah, knife sharpening.
And like you
knife
can
this, knife that. Yeah, I thought about doing that where I thought about that 1 year. But it was our first year forever going. But I thought about setting up a booth and teaching knife sharpening.
But these are like not booths.
Where I
They're
teach
like
freehand knife sharpening. And it's like $20 a spot.
But these are not booths. They are separate classes.
I'm saying that they have a place where they actually teach knife making, knife this, knife that, and they have like a room with all these different.
But
events
I wonder if you could do it in actually do it legitimately in conjunction with Blade Show, because then insurance and all that shit would be covered under the fact that you would be a partner with them in that sense. But like if you did host that like competition, you could do it in like standing in the middle of Blade Show, where it's like anybody could just come walk up and watch it anytime. Or you could do it in a separate room where people would have to pay tickets to try to make some money back on the event. You know what I mean? But like you could do it like that, where it's literally the day before, so no one's missing out on actual Blade Show. But people are already in town. I think I'm gonna look into this. It won't happen this year for sure, because that's too close.
But if we ever did set up a booth where like one day, right? Not the whole weekend, but the one day we did where I would set up booths and people could show up and learn freehand sharpening live right there, where like I could help you maneuver the knife and hold the knife a certain way, whatever. That'd be kind of cool. I don't know how many people would sign up.
Maybe we could do that 1 year after we've had a few under our belts.
The reason why I wouldn't want to do it, the only reason why I wouldn't, because I'd hate to show up and have 3 people fucking apply.
Those 3 people would be really happy.
Trust me, I would too. They get 3 people, because it'd be even worse for no people. You know, you'd hate to be sitting at a table.
It's like that video of that one TikTok famous girl.
Oh yeah,
she made an event and it was just a meet and greet. And she had all these little bracelets she was going to hand out to her fans, and she had like over 1 million followers, and nobody showed up. She even had security, so it was really cringy because she had the security like she needed it. It was so sad. But the thing is, I swear to you guys,
I understand that though. It's TikTok.
They inflate their followers. People get famous on there way too quick. It is so much harder on places like YouTube or Instagram, assuming that you're not buying shit on Instagram. It's way harder. So to watch people be like 100,000 plus followers on TikTok, to me, that's like,
those people are not showing up to see you. Just because they watch your TikTok doesn't mean they're going to show up to meet and greet you.
It's
different. It's different. It's not the same.
No, but we're about to wrap it up, though. Seems logical.
We're going to wrap it up right now. If I leave this video, prevent me from coming back in. Well, we're going to wrap up anyway, so it's all good.
If we ever do this Blades and Fades, you'll be on the list. Don't worry.
Start turning now. Literally all of these ideas would be the experience of a lifetime for me. I'd be so happy and honored and grateful. Well, definitely, guys, go and subscribe to Blades and Fades. And thank you, Irish Bomb Squad. There is our Patreon link if you want to become a patron member. Excuse me. We do have a video going up soon. We got to record it still, but going up soon for the patrons, because we have the giveaway. And like I said, we will be giving away a TSPROF for Christmas to the members for the sharpening. Shout out to you guys for hanging out. Thank you guys for all the donations. Thank you guys for kicking it with us and all the support. You guys are awesome. Peace.
Bye.